Gaming news today is all about the face-off. First, Arcraiders is being compared to Marathon, and with the current tech test reactions and first impressions, it's probably going to be a pretty tough fight. Second, Borderlands 4 finally debuted a deep dive into gameplay after moving its release date, and it's clear why they wanted to avoid Bungie when they launched their game, and I'm going to talk about why I think that. Third, Xbox sales results are in, and why, while one number is sort of expected to be down, some are noting an increase that is directly related to Xbox's brand shift over the last 2 years. And just this morning, they announced price increases that are going to put them in line with Nintendo games at $80 for their big AAA titles, but also hardware that's getting eerily close to their former competitor's PS5 Pro. And as always, I've got a game for your wish list and your radar. So if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I'm making sure to turn off the ads now. You guys should not get hit with automatic ads. A great way to support the channel, since we don't run ads, is to become a paying member. So click join, consider picking Member Plus. It's $6 a month. You get into extra content. That is something that we need in order to do this show on a daily basis, and so many of you people are doing that. If you're watching on Twitch, consider subscribing with Prime or paying for your own subscription, and you'll never see an ad on my Twitch channel when you're a paying sub. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure and smash that like button either now or when you're watching it later. That really helps out. Now, what we're going to be doing is walking through these couple of stories for you very, very quickly here. And the first one we're going to start off with is Arcraiders versus Marathon. So I watched a ton of Marathon first impressions, gameplay, and reviews, and the consensus is, well, it's not very good. Those who initially brigaded my video about the game being a recipe for failure are quickly changing their tune, and, well, my videos are aging like fine wine. Now calls for a delay are pretty unanimous, largely because it doesn't seem even remotely ready for launch, and 5 months is nowhere near enough time to collect, organize, and implement all of the feedback that they've received. I would even argue that the mountain of feedback is a red flag in and of itself, showing that Bungie is very much out of their depth in the extraction genre. Well, enter stage left, Arcraiders. Their little tech test is happening right now, and it doesn't seem all that little. From their last tech test to now, the opinion of the game has dramatically shifted. Reforge Gaming, Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, and many others are saying that this game has what it takes. Now, Astacross and both Force Gaming spoke to the fact that PvE-only options or a PvE-only mode would actually draw in more players, and I 100% agree. The consensus seems to be, though, that the opposite is true of this game than what people are saying about Marathon. One feels fresh, robust, visually appealing, and built for extraction fans, and the other feels bland, bare bones, and simply not ready for prime time. Now, some are pointing to third person in Arcraiders being a turnoff, and I think that's fair. Public perception, though, and momentum are a huge factor in a game like this getting off the ground. One seems to have it, while the other, well, just doesn't. Time will tell, but my current prediction is that Marathon gets delayed, and then ultimately it will be indefinitely shelved, and Arcraiders has a shot to be another Tarkov or Hunt, garnering a steady and stable player base. What do you think? Leave a comment below, or we can chat about it live. So we also are going to be talking about Borderlands 4. This happened yesterday. In case you missed it, Borderlands 4 State of Play Deep Dive took place, and the response was pretty much all positive from what I saw. I posted my own reactions, so be sure to check that out. I think it's clear, though, why Gearbox shifted their date away from a Bungie game. Now, I've already spoken about how this is less about competing for players and more about competing for attention. Bungie can flex marketing spend dollars, trailers, sponsored streams, blogs, articles. Sharing the limelight with a Bungie game is not ideal for the next installment of the grandfather of looter shooters, especially after seeing the latest Borderlands 4 gameplay. You have a robot with you that acts sort of like a ghost from Destiny. You have a vehicle that's very reminiscent of a Sparrow from Destiny. You have movement abilities like glide, double jump, and dash that are a lot like the movement from Destiny. Even the open world design has pop-up activities that feel like gameplay things we've seen from, you guessed it, Destiny. Now, obviously, this game is very much a Borderlands game, but it's very clear they took a lot of inspiration from their cousin looter shooter Destiny, and I fully welcome that. The Borderlands 4 gameplay looked great, but this to me really lands the plane as to why they shifted their date. Bungie fans will no doubt see more and more Borderlands 4 gameplay and think, wow, that looks kind of familiar. And it will be a lot easier to get those Bungie fans' attention if you're not launching the same day as Bungie's next game. So what do you think? Am I on to something? And you can leave a comment below, or we can discuss it live. We're also going to be talking about Xbox sales today, and probably getting into a bit of a debate about the increase in price. So, pulling from Insider Gaming, the headline reads that Microsoft's latest earnings report reveals Xbox revenue climbs as hardware sales drop. Now, this really should not come as a shock to, well, anybody paying attention, but here's what they report. Quote, Microsoft's latest earnings report for fiscal year 25 has revealed that gaming revenue for Microsoft increased 5% in total for quarter 3, with a significant growth of 8% due to Xbox content and services. This is me speaking here. I think this will likely reinforce everything that Microsoft has been pushing Xbox toward with their third-party publishing efforts. And there was a hardware decline, which was expected. This is what they report. Xbox hardware revenue continues to drop with a decline of 6%, a drop that the company said to expect last year. So listen, this really calls into question a lot of what we've heard about the future of hardware plans from Xbox. If they expect this trend to continue, will Xbox hardware efforts in the future be worth anything in the eye of Microsoft? Long-standing fans may feel very strongly about this, but Microsoft is clearly driving the Xbox ship now. And apparently the third-party publishing effort is about to get even bolder. One more thing from the Insider Gaming report says, according to various rumors, Microsoft is set to continue and get bolder with its multi-platform strategy moving forward with its titles, including noticeable releases on the Nintendo Switch 2. So, as I said before, this type of revenue increase will only embolden Microsoft to be more bullish with their property, and that could mean a very different future for Xbox console loyalists, especially in light of the breaking news this morning that later this year, it's going to cost you $600 to get a Series X. The 2 terabyte Series X is going to be $730. That's more expensive than a PS5 Pro, and they will be pushing their major AAA titles to $80. Pretty much falling in line with the Mario Kart $80 price point, and I'm expecting all that rage and salt that we saw for Nintendo also hurdled at Xbox. So, what do you think? You can leave a comment below, or we can discuss it live. Now, I've also got a game for your wish list and your radar. I like to open the show every day and end it with this. This game is called Blades of Fire. It's hitting PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X and S on May 22nd of 2025. So it's very close at hand, about 20 days away. Here's what they say. This is a game where you're going to forge your legend in an all-new single-player action adventure from Mercury Steam and 505 Games. Now, Mercury Steam is an independent games developer, and they are based in Spain. They did Metroid Dread and a game called Space Lords. And this game, I think, looks really ambitious, but it also looks like a ton of fun. Very bombastic, very impactful melee-based combat. Now, this is one of the many games hitting in 2025, and May is already pretty full with games like Doom: The Dark Ages. So keep an eye on this one. I will be playing this day one on YouTube and Twitch. If you're not sure about it, you can watch me stream it there. And that's the news. And now it's time for the discussion. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Make sure you go through the ritual. YouTube, hit the like button, and Twitch, get those subs going. You guys have a bit of a lead today. Let me get that member count back up for everybody so that you guys can see what's going on. And there is a sub goal over there on Twitch as well. And Twitch, for the first time in a long time, they have a bit of a lead today, and you guys could maintain that lead. Thank you guys so much for doing that during morning coffee. And I do have some people to thank over here on YouTube as well. Omar, Han shot first, and so did you. First gifted sub of the day, and he's going to move the line. That Friday night 500 member goal is it's a teeny bit behind, but you guys have rallied typically on Thursdays and Fridays to turn it around, and Mr. Johnson's going to renew his to a member plus. We are now 10 members exactly away on YouTube from me owing you guys some members. Every 25, I give 5. And you guys can do the same thing on Twitch. We have not hit 25 in a day yet, so you guys have not made me do that. Well done on the monologue, sir. Appreciate your streams. Thank you so much, Draken. Prices going up across the board, not surprising. Borderlands 4 is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, we've got a lot to discuss today, so we might have to take these debates in pieces. What do you guys make of the whole arcraiders versus Marathon discussion? I'm seeing these videos crop up. I'm seeing these comparisons, and the response to arcraiders is seemingly a whole lot hotter than the response to Marathon. So where are you guys landing on the comparisons here? I'm curious what you guys think. Deadpool hits 27 months of subs on Twitch. Thank you. I'm DP Sage, by the way. Well, DP Sage just bumped it a little bit higher for Twitch to 19, but then a single gifted's going to come in from Mike on the mic, and then a 5 bomb's going to come in from Pathalon Phoenix. And oh boy, now we've got ourselves an actual bona fide contest. We're going to see if Twitch decides to stay in the ring today or if they're going to let YouTube take them over. We will see. Thank you so much, Pathalon and Mike on the mic. I would choose Arc over Marathon. Arcraiders is free and it looks better. Arcraiders is not free. Arcraiders was originally going to be a free-to-play looter shooter, and they have since shifted to a premium priced game or whatever the frick they're calling it now, $40. So they are both $40. Kirk says, I think it has a lot to do with not many people actually getting access to Marathon, whereas Arcraiders is being much more generous with codes. I actually don't agree with that take. I don't think the response to Marathon is related to who's getting codes and who's not. Streams were not getting the greatest response. Videos, the event, the showcase. The public's response to Marathon happened before we were like, oh, but I can't get a code. I don't. And I'm watching people just sort of watch videos of Arcraiders and have a stronger response. Like they're not even playing. As someone who's barely played Destiny and Finals and had no idea about either game until last week, Marathon looks a lot better and feels like it'll fill the Apex-size hole in my heart. Other people here disagreeing with Kirk's take on that. Yeah, I don't think that's the right take. I really don't. I think that the Marathon's getting tepid response because of the game. I just think if you look at the game, it's evident that it just isn't grabbing people. It isn't. That's the cold hard facts. You know, it's just not grabbing people. It's not sparking something inside of the mind of the public, and it's certainly not sparking anything in the mind of the people that are playing it and making the videos. Arcraiders is getting like immediate, oh my gosh, this is great, this is hype, this is awesome, and we're just not seeing that. The people that were the most excited about Marathon are now like, yeah, you should probably delay this. Like the whole vibe shifted so quickly. You had people that were like mocking and brigading my video about how the game was a recipe for failure. Those same people are now calling for the game to be delayed. So I'll take that every day of the week as far as like takes and videos aging like fine wine. I mean, we nailed that one, in my opinion. Call me crazy, but it's hard to grab someone with your gameplay when someone can't experience your gameplay. I do agree the reception to Marathon has been cold at every turn, though. Right, and that's what I'm saying to you, Kirk. A lot of the people that are responding positively to Arcraiders aren't even playing it. They're just looking at the videos, and they're looking at the trailers, and they're looking at the streams. I don't even think the interest was that high in Marathon's alpha, if you want my honest opinion. I don't think people are even trying to play that much. I think they watched the reveal, the showcase, they watched some streams, they watched some YouTube videos, and they're like, I'm out. I don't care. 100% player and viewer retention dropped off fast. Yeah, I don't think people are even trying to play as much. You know what I mean? Culture difference. What are you guys talking about? Culture difference? What are you guys debating? If I don't pay for it and steal it either? Huh? I don't know what you guys are debating in the Discord. Most people responding negatively to Marathon haven't played it either. It looks disinteresting. A $5 super chat tip from Duff. Both have the same exact loop. One does level design, atmosphere, tension, polish, and presentation way better. Marathon wants to be arena, not extract. Let me set the super chat goal so you guys can make confetti, and then I will gift a member. We will do that. What's the Twitch count for Marathon at the moment? Oh, good golly. It's probably not even above 3,000 would be my guess. It's got to be way down there. Here, I'm not even going to scroll because it'll take too long to find it. 2.6K viewers. So yeah, not even 3,000 viewers. Not even 3,000. I didn't. Yo, a VIP from Hunter, 14 months in a VIP. Never played Borderlands, but I might pick up Borderlands 4 since it's Destiny-esque. And that gets us to 222 on the week. A little bit closer to me owing you guys some members. Twitch currently holding on to a 10-point lead. 19 subs to 9 members on YouTube. I played arcraiders most of yesterday after work. It was a lot of fun. I had more fun playing Concord than Marathon. Well, that's a sentence I never thought I would read. Titanfall 3 was canceled. There was no Titanfall 3. There was a Titanfall extraction game that they canceled. I don't know why. Why does everybody think extraction shooters are like the next hot thing? I'm telling you, people are so desperate for a live service hit. They're thinking that vacancy creates demand. Like, well, nobody's made one yet, so we'll do it and it'll create a bunch of demand. It's like, okay, good luck. Kirk says, I guess I'm too far in the content creator bubble, and that's where the take stems from. You're looking at high level, which is probably prudent. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Kirk. I went and Rissick with the 10 bomb on YouTube, and just like that, it's tied between Twitch and YouTube, and the member count climbs to 232 on the tube over here. We're now 20 away from 250. We'll see if Rissick doesn't create a ripple effect and we get a 20 bomb, and I'll owe you guys 10 members. If you go and you listen to the people that were pumped about this game, that were looking forward to this game, okay, they're now way more reserved and like they're hedging their bets, and they're like, yeah, there's a lot that could be improved, and they're and a 20 bomb from Rissick. He does it himself. This man says we don't need MASH. I'm here for the day. And just like that, Twitch gets left in the dust. Are you going to answer back, Twitch? Let's see. And a single comes in from Rissick, taking the grand total on the day to 40 against Twitch's 19, and the total on the week to 253. Thank you so much, Rissick. You're the man. 2 questions. Mike on a mic with the super chat says, why so many extraction games? Also, what's the likelihood of Destiny 3? And a 10 bomb comes in from Detective Seeds. The YouTube train in full effect, once again making it seemingly impossible for Twitch to even compete. Come on, there's like 200 people over here on Twitch. You guys can answer back, man. You guys just keep taking it, laying down. Thank you so much, Detective Seeds, the man himself. Okay, why so many extraction games? I'll tell you. Okay, and you got to think about this, okay? arcraiders went from like free-to-play looter-shooter PvE game to extraction shooter. Okay, you got to ask the question like, why? What the frick happened? And as far as we can tell, you know, Dr. Lupo was testing something for Bungie as early as 2018. That's like 7 years ago. I think based on Anon the Nine's leaks about Destiny 3, I think Marathon is the PvPvE open world areas they were testing for Destiny 3. I think it's been ripped out and turned into an extraction shooter. So the question would be, why are these companies doing this? Why are they like pivoting their efforts, their focus, their attention, their development prowess? Why are they doing that for extraction shooters? Okay, this is my answer. I think people want live service dollars, and they think that, oh, there's a vacancy in the market. If we fill that vacancy, we will get players. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that could be true. I think it's probably been true in certain circumstances. I don't think it's true for the extraction shooter. I don't think there's high demand for the genre. I think there's a way to increase demand for the genre, and one of the ways of increasing demand for the genre is let people avoid PvP. You open up your funnel to an entire swath of players who are automatically going to nope out. They're going to nope right out of your game when there's PvP. So I don't think that you're going to see that. You're going to see extraction shooters yield the results that these companies were hoping for. Now, arcraiders, I think, has what it takes to be like another Tarkov, where they have like a steady cadence and healthy player pool. I don't see Marathon getting that like at all. I think Marathon's headed to a delay and then an indefinite shelve. I don't think it sees the light of day. That's just my personal prediction. So Marathon's most prolific gamer advocate implicated in a sudden chess cheating scandal. Why? Yeah, Jack, it's a big time scandal for sure. Totally joking. Career ending, right? No, people won't care in a month. Yana did with 19 months into Member Plus. What's the difference between a looter shooter and an extraction shooter? Some examples, thanks. Well, your most basic looter shooter format is going to be like a Borderlands, a Destiny, or a Division, where the primary content loop is you doing things that yield loot, and then the loot gets better, stronger, cooler, whatever. The more you play, the more you level up. So if you play Division, Destiny, or Borderlands, that's essentially the core content loop, is kill stuff, get stuff, level up, stuff gets better. The stuff that drops is better. That's sort of the quick, too long didn't read description of a looter shooter, okay? Extraction shooters are a little bit different because their main content loop is that you go in to get stuff, but you have to get out with the stuff. So you could get killed by a boss, you could get killed by AI, you could fall off a cliff and die, right? And in most extraction shooters, I think there are other players in there that are gunning for you, or they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get in and get out, and you can stop them, they can stop you, vice versa, okay? I think there's a bridge between the genres that no one's tapping into, which to me is an enormous mistake. But a lot of the descriptions that I've seen for arcraiders, as an example, there's a lot of PvE. There's a lot of mechanics purely built around AI, NPCs, bosses, enemies that can like send out an alert or an alarm or whatever. There's an awful lot of PvE in there, and I'm like, you could let people just interact with that and they'd have a perfectly good time. There would still be the risk of like dying and losing your stuff if you play poorly or you get overwhelmed or something. Like I watched I think it was Astacross extract. I watched somebody extract. No, it was Wooly's clip. I watched Wooly extract. And like you basically wait for these doors to slowly open. You go inside, and then the doors, you have to hit a thing on a computer, and then the doors slowly close, and then you go down back under the ground. So the extraction looked really fun. That could be super intense. Like think about the end of a Helldivers match, right? You go to extract and you're waiting for the ship, and then all the bugs show up. You could do the exact same dadgum thing in arcraiders. You could be like, okay, someone's trying to extract, it makes a bunch of noise and it sends a signal flare, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then a bunch of enemies come, maybe even a boss shows up. Okay? You could totally let people play that way. You don't, I'm telling you, it kills me how simple this is. Like, they already made it. They already made the PvE version of that game. It's already made. They did it. You just have to create aggro and spawn patterns around extraction if somebody doesn't want to play against real players. Now, you could have a heightened amount of rewards, you could have better items, you could have higher payouts for the people that go into extract with PvP, right? You could have a heightened sense of risk, a heightened sense of reward, and it would make the PvP guys feel that greater sense of elation and reward because they're like, yeah, we're not playing that PvE stuff. We're playing the PvP stuff. And we get better loot. We get better rewards, etc. And that also, I think, balances things out. Like, yes, you may lose big against a player, but you might be able to bounce back quicker, right? You may be able to bounce back quicker because you're in the PvP environment and the reward cycle could be faster in the PvP environment. Okay. I think there's a bridge between the looter shooter and the extraction game. I do. And I think the person that builds that bridge is going to have a hit on their hands. And I think Arcraiders could be the game to do it. I do. I may make a video on this because I'm telling you, there is a big group of players that are like immediately like this. Nope, I don't want to play. And the minute you say, well, hang on a minute, what if we gave you a mode where you didn't have to play against other players? And they'd say, well, now I'm listening. So, extraction looter shooters need to stop. What do you mean? Need to stop what? Counterpoint, it wouldn't turn the PvPvE, it would be turned into a sweatbox. Only the hardcore will stay in there and filter out the PvE players. No, not exactly, Ashen. You could motivate the PvE boys to go in there. You could. Let's say I get a pretty good amount of loot, Ashen, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save this loot over here. I'm going to put together a little kit. Let's go play some PvP. Let's go play some PvP. Let's go try to get some of the new stuff. You could do events. You could do timed events, timed rewards, something like that. From existing, people are tired of these games. Speak for yourself. If you don't want to play them, don't buy them. But, like, I don't think people are tired of looter shooters. I think that's completely made up. Like, what do you mean? Like, First Descendant exploded in popularity when it first came out because it was a brand new live service looter shooter. And yeah, of course, the females were hot, but that wasn't why people were initially playing only. One of the reasons people were playing is because people want a game like that. People have been dying for a good looter shooter. I don't know where you're getting this weird take that, like, people are tired of looter shooters. That's a really weird one. By the way, it's good to see you in chat, Echo Doctrine. Good to see you. Somebody said they were watching... Oh, Demin says, was watching Crafty play Arcraiders. It does look like a lot of fun. He's been loving it. We don't have enough looter shooters? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, give me Division 3. People are begging for a Destiny 3. Inject Borderlands 4 into my veins. You know? Come on. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, nice strong start to the day. Guys, could you give us some likes? I threw this show together this morning. It's really encouraging to have such a strong turnout on both platforms. Like, I was just like, I think these will be fun topics to discuss, and I just threw them on the title and the thumbnail. So thank you for tuning in. IGN just posted an article stating that Xbox is raising their game prices to 80 and the Series X consoles up by 100. Yeah, we read that during morning coffee. We did. First Ascendant's a looter shooter? Yeah. Yeah. What else would you call it? So used to YouTube, I just tried to find and hit the like button. I'm a nerd. Hey, it's all right. Yo, what's good, Biggish Finger? How are you? He's talking about players like me that don't care for PvP games. I like PvE more than PvP. Who in their right mind would buy an Xbox right now? I got a lot of heat for saying it, but here's your prices of the consoles in the US. So the 2 terabyte Xbox Series X, that is more expensive than a Pro. Because the Pro comes with 2 terabytes. So if you're trying to get like the Xbox equivalent to any degree to the Pro, this isn't stronger, by the way. You're not getting a boost in power. Just a bigger hard drive. This is more expensive than a PS5 Pro. Series X is only $100 less than the Pro now. So it's going to be very interesting to see what PlayStation decides to do. PlayStation could very easily, raise their prices as well and be like, no, yeah, we got to raise our prices too. We got to raise our prices. This is a tariff thing? I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, that comes on the heels of their hardware slowing down again. Silver Subaru with 51 months. I'm going to put yo there so I can see who does anything after this in my fan funding chat. 51 months of VIP. Borderlands 4 looks like so much fun. I might just have to get it. 51 months. Let's go. And that bumps the member count. We are officially 10 members away from 275. I will owe you guys a 10 bomb. Somebody tag team with me. You do a 10, I'll do a 10. I'm going to get ready right now for it. Let's tag team it. Somebody 10 bomb us to 275, and then I'm going to drop a 10. Let's go. We got to bounce this count back. We got to get going. Sony is definitely raising prices by 2026. They might hold off this year, though, because they're going to be in a really good spot if they don't raise their prices when GTA 6 comes out. I mean, you talk about the death blow. That's not even a death blow. I mean, that's just like, at that point, that's just stomping on a corpse. I mean, they're going to raise prices before Christmas. I think that there's a high likelihood that they will, but they could also be like, no, we're not going to. We can be competitively priced when GTA 6 comes out and have like bundles. And I think that is, that's powerful. That's potent. Yeah, GTA 6 is going to be 80. Xbox basically said their AAA games are going to be 80. So like Call of Duty, Outer Worlds 2 probably, but like Call of Duty is almost guaranteed. That's almost guaranteed to be 80. Yeah. So I can't wait for everybody to be consistent, you know. I can't wait for everybody to be consistent. Let's see those videos. You know, let's see the rage and the salt. Everybody better be shredding You better shred Xbox. You shred Nintendo, you know. Hollow Knight Silksong will be playable in September of 2025 at an Australian museum. What the frick? Why? Why there? Ghost of Yotei 70 at least. Is Doom going to be 80? It sounded like in the article from Windows Central. Where is it? First party games hitting 80. It doesn't give a timeline, I don't think. I think the article just has generically said later this year. I don't know if it gives an exact time, but it is indicating that Xbox first party games are going to hit 80. Yeah. So, there you go. There's that. Sports titles will fall, definitely going to 80. Fiscal 2026. Thanks so much for the strong turnout, man, on both Twitch and YouTube. This feels very, very good and consistent to have such a great amount of folks hanging out. Make sure on YouTube you guys go through the ritual of hitting like. We're discussing a lot of different things. We're discussing ArcRaiders versus Marathon. We're discussing Xbox's prices going up. We're talking about, I gave my own theory as to why Borderlands shifted its release date away from Marathon. I think it has way more to do with Bungie than GTA 6. So there's a lot to discuss. You're a good talker. Well, thank you. On the more positive news, I don't know if you've covered this, but Square Enix, Capcom, and Namco are teaming to start achieving old and classic games for preservation. Let me dig up the article. That's encouraging. I think game preservation can happen, but they're going to have to figure out how to monetize it, because you're never going to get like investors or C-suite or executives, you know, push for that if they can't make money on it. Glad to see you got your Twitch back. Yes, if you guys missed the notice, we've been on Twitch for 2 weeks or so. I was emailing the CEO, Dan Clancy. He looked into the situation, and he welcomed us back to the platform. I greatly appreciate him doing that. It was nice to have somebody finally look into everything for me. It was very kind of him to do that. Something that you can do for me is that if you pay for Amazon Prime, you can support my Twitch channel with a Twitch Prime. You don't even have to watch over there, but you can throw your Twitch Prime at me every month. It supports me, and it just helps us grow over there and unlock more things. I was a Twitch viewer years ago, and I was addicted to Destiny. Well, I'm glad to see you, and glad for you to be here today. Ragnarok did a good job with the Valhalla DLC, and the Arkham games had the Riddler challenges and Horde maps. I want more stuff like that. Oh, like free updates and stuff like that? I think it's difficult, you know, sometimes for games to, you know, and developers just to do like free updates, because there's got to be, you know, there's got to be some kind of an angle for funding or, you know, response, or how are they going to make money off of it? You know, like they got to pay the bills, man. They got to keep the lights on. They can't just work for free. You know, that's challenging. Sorry, it wasn't Namco. It was Taito and Sega. Okay. So they are, they're committing to past development material, you know, preserving past development stuff. And a single gift that comes in from Raphael over here on YouTube and gets us to 266. I was asking for the 10 bomb, and Raphael says, come on, let's bump the line. Somebody do it. A 10 bomb, and I owe a 10 bomb. We can tag team it together. Isn't the Division franchise considered extraction shooter? If so, it's doing pretty well. No, Division is not considered an extraction shooter by like anybody who plays it. No. They had an extraction mode called Survival, kind of, in Div 1. Div 2 and Div 1 are 100% min-max looter shooters. They are not extraction games at all. Now, you go into the Dark Zone, and you can experience an extraction mode, but nobody would ever describe Division 1 or 2 as an extraction shooter. Like, the Dark Zone's just sort of a mode within the game where you extract. You can completely avoid that and never touch it and have a perfectly fine time with targeted loot cycles and PvE game loops inside of the Division 2. That's very, very common. Guys, double check that YouTube's saving your likes. We've been having the platform's been acting really, really squirrely, and that does help us out, so make sure that's not happening again today. Like yesterday, it wasn't saving people's likes. Did you see that the Bungie lawsuit, the Bungie lawyer says the Red War campaign no longer exists on Bungie servers? That's very interesting. Manuel with the $5 super chat says, can you lose items you've already extracted in Marathon if you die during a match? People in chat would have to weigh in on that. I'm pretty sure yes, because you go in with what you got and then you die and then you lose it. You don't have like, I don't think you have like a locker or like, do you have like storage or something? Like I always hope, like imagine like arcraiders. Can you just like dump it in there so that when you can basically save stuff, can't you, before going back in so that you don't have to necessarily risk it? Because I would assume that there'd be some element of protection there. In a recent court filing, Bungie's lawyers confirmed that the studio does not, in fact, have a time machine. Well, I would think not. You have storage, but you have to leave that in storage. So, yeah, you can save stuff then, Manuel. Like, you could definitely get something really good and decide to store it and not risk it. That is an option that is available to you. If you got like a really good item and you didn't want to lose it. Yeah. That's lame. Well, the extraction shooter game loop is very much you are always at risk. Like that's kind of where the emotional cocktail comes from, is that you have the elation of finding something really dope and then you have the immediate fear that someone could kill you and take it, or someone could kill you and you lose it. Like that's one of the reasons that people like extraction shooters. Like the shirt today, boss. Thank you very much. Like that's the whole point of the game type, is to create that immediate friction of, oh, this is awesome. Oh crap, somebody might come get me. That to me is why I don't want to play them, because I feel like that lets the air out of the tires immediately. It's like, ooh, this is so great. Yeah, well, at any moment now I could lose it. So its value just immediately becomes tarnished. If you get a good item, why wouldn't you want to use it? Isn't that part of getting good gear? Well, you're not an extraction guy. So Quarterfish, you might be going in and doing something that maybe is like high risk, or maybe you're inexperienced, or maybe you're doing matchmaking instead of playing with your buds. So you don't want to risk your really primo stuff. So like you would go in on like a pretty like low level build, scuffed build, knowing that like, yeah, if I die, it's not that big of a deal. So what you do is you determine the risk before you go in. Like, do I want to risk all my best stuff or just risk like almost nothing, right? Because if your buddies aren't on and you're going to be playing by yourself, you may determine that it's not worth it. You're like, no. I don't want to go in with my really good primo loot. The whole genre is broken due to extraction point campers. Yo, what's good, Ice Queen Gaming? Yeah, I mean, that you're always going to have that, but those people are obviously taking the risk of like, they're not getting anything. They're not playing, right? Also, when you get to the extraction point, you could sweep and look for them. Manuel with a $5 super chat. I completely understand if I failed to extract, they can take it, but if I extract it, I should be able to use it without the fear of losing. When and where, Manuel? When and where would you use it? Where are you going? Where's this mythical place that you're going, homie? In order to use the gear, you gotta go back in. And when you go back in, there's people there. Right? This is why, what you're saying, Manuel, is why I think arcraiders should offer a PvE only way to play the game, because you could get really cool stuff and be like, whew, we got out. Now let's go grind PvE. I've got some really strong loot. It'll help us with that boss. It'll help us with that point of interest. It'll blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm with you. Like, I would love to go into the high stakes PvP, pull it off, get out, get the good loot, and now maybe I can go and grind and have better results, right? I enjoy going to church on Wednesday with the dad. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying that, Ice Queen Gaming. It seems like in arcraiders, your gear has wear, eventually breaks, which adds a whole other level of when I should use this gear. Marathon's another Sony managed failure. It has nothing to do with Sony. I know that's what the anti-Sony fans are going to attempt to claim, but like, I always said that Redfall had nothing to do with Xbox. That was ZeniMax's fault. ZeniMax is the one that greenlit Redfall, made the studio make it. The studio did not voice their displeasure or inability to make it. All I've ever said is like, Xbox should have canceled it. Marathon has nothing to do with Sony. Marathon was a greenlit project as early as 2018. They've been working on it since then, and it's something that Bungie did, and Bungie's independent. Like, go read the deal. Go read the merger deal with Bungie and PlayStation. They remained independent, so their choice to make this game is their own. Sony literally took over Bungie? No, now you're just saying things that aren't true. But Sony has not taken over Bungie. You're unfamiliar with the deal. Bungie remained independent. Their choices in Destiny, their choices to spin up incubation projects, their choice to do Marathon. Go read Pete Parsons' blog on this. This is all on Bungie. It has nothing to show me proof. No, you're making a false assertion. The burden of proof is on you. All the things I'm stating to you are in view of the public right now. The initial deal with PlayStation stated they would remain independent. The choices to do the incubation projects were owned by Pete Parsons in a blog. You're making a false claim counter to everything that's been reported up to now. The burden of proof was be on you to say that Sony took over Bungie. You're the one making the claim. They haven't done that. I think they would like to. I think it's inevitable. I think that PlayStation absorbs Bungie and takes over. They want the IP. They want the talent. But they have not taken over Bungie. Marathon has nothing to do with Sony. I know that's going to get misrepresented and I'll be called a coping pony, but I'm like, I said that Redfall's quality had nothing to do with Xbox. I'm being completely fair and consistent here. ZeniMax is the one that greenlit Redfall. That studio should have said they had no idea what they were doing, and they should have fought back and said, we don't want to make a multiplayer game. We're not equipped to make a multiplayer game. They hoped that Xbox would cancel it after they got acquired. That's not on Xbox. Now, Xbox probably should have canceled it, but the quality of Redfall has nothing to do with Xbox. Marathon's quality, the decision-making behind Marathon, has nothing to do with Sony. Sony acquired Bungie for $3.6 billion. Simple Google, my man. Listen, your tone and your arrogance is so misplaced, my man. You need to read the fine print of that deal. Bungie remained and functioned independent after that acquisition. Is it your first day here? You honestly think that I don't know Sony acquired Bungie for $3.6 billion? Go read the details of the deal. Bungie remained independent. Their choices with Destiny, their choices with incubation projects, their choices with Marathon are their own. They function and operate independent right now. That's why Pete Parsons made a blog post. Do you know who Pete Parsons is? He's the CEO of Bungie. And he said, listen, I put the company into the red. They spun up a bunch of incubation projects and they were trying to do a bunch of stuff that wasn't Destiny. It put them in the red and they had to lay a bunch of people off. None of that has anything to do with Sony. Now, I know Bleed Green guys will lie and they will claim that this is a Sony L and that this is a Sony problem and that this is PlayStation's fault. It's because they're liars and they lie. The facts are the facts. Anybody with even the most basic business acumen can clearly see this was not some Sony takeover and a bunch of Sony decisions. That's false. None of those claims are true. They cannot be substantiated with evidence. All evidence points to Bungie remaining independent. Bungie's been making these decisions for a long time. Marathon's been in the works since like 2018. Like, I'm just not interested in playing nice and keeping the kid gloves on for the lying bleed green guys. They're tiring. And in 2 years, they'll be more irrelevant than they are now. No one listens to these guys anymore because they just do nothing but shovel BS. Marathon has nothing to do with Sony. You want to hang something on Sony? You can hang Concord on Sony. You can. Herman Holst thought it was going to be amazing, and he was dead wrong. Maybe I was misinformed, but why would Sony buy Bungie and not take credit for their work? If you go back and read the initial deal, Illuminati, again, you got to remember who you're talking to, man. I research and vet all this stuff. I don't just shoot from the hip. I'm well versed in this topic. It's Bungie, after all. Do you know who I am, brother? Like, it's Bungie. Okay, the original deal, when they drew it up, PlayStation made it very clear why they wanted Bungie. They wanted Bungie to spearhead their Center for Live Service Excellence. They knew that they needed help assessing viability of live service projects. So, Bungie, after an onboarding period, were then put in the position to oversee PlayStation live service projects. They sat down with Naughty Dog, they looked at The Last of Us Online, and they basically told Naughty Dog, you don't have the bandwidth to keep this game going. You would need the entire studio behind this project to keep it going. Why? Bungie knows what it takes to get a live service game off the ground, and it has to go for 10 years because much of Bungie's best years were parallel development with companies like High Moon Studios and Vicarious Visions. Even Bungie at their size, they knew you're going to need more bandwidth. Naughty Dog makes the decision to cancel The Last of Us Online, and they publicly said, we don't want to become a live service studio, and that's what was going to be required to get this game going and to keep this game going. They wanted to get Intergalactic out, and they're likely now working on The Last of Us Part 3. So, Bungie being acquired had nothing to do with Marathon and Destiny. It had to do with their decade-long experience in the live service realm so that they could help PlayStation not have more Concords happen. I don't even think Bungie got to look at Concord. I don't think they did. I was told by a source at Sony that Concord was like very secretive. They weren't letting SIE employees play it, which typically companies like that do so that they can get feedback. They kept Concord very secretive, very insulated, and look at what happened. We're almost 2 hours live. Lono, start cooking. Well, I appreciate it. Illuminati says, I'm not trying to start an argument. I enjoy the content. I apologize. No. You're fine, Illuminati. I'm just here to tell you, I know people are going to have that take. I 100% know people are like, yep, it's a big L for PlayStation. It's like, this has nothing to do with PlayStation. This is all on Bungie. You can take Concord to the doorstep of PlayStation, and you can blame them every single time. That's all on Shuhei Yoshida and Herman Holst for thinking that Concord was special. And they were dead wrong. That's why you need Bungie. You needed Bungie to walk in the room at Concord and say, you haven't built anything special. What? Now, it really makes you wonder, what the heck do they think they're doing with Marathon? What does Bungie think they're doing with Marathon? If you walked in the room and you gave Naughty Dog a wake-up call, you need to walk into your own room and give yourself a wake-up call. Marathon doesn't have legs. It doesn't. Noberto says, just an idea of what would make a casual like me play an extraction shooter. It'd be cool if you could store stuff, go into the PvP gunfights, and the winner gets coordinates to your stash, and then you can get it and hunt down. I mean, that doesn't sound much different than that just doesn't sound much different at all. You're still having to fight and then go get the loot instead of having the loot on you. That doesn't sound much different, Noberto. I might be missing some nuance in what you're saying. There's a lot of info out there. Bungie do answer to Sony at a certain level, but they are autonomous. If they fail to achieve certain financial goals, there are measures. Right. There's speculation that, yes, that a takeover is on the horizon. I think that by the end of 2026, Bungie will be a PlayStation studio, and they will not be in control any longer. Pete Parsons will be gone. Much of the leadership will be gone. The Christmas present that I'll get to open in 2026 is that the leadership of Bungie will be cleaned out. Or a lot of them are probably going to leave on their own volition. I've said for years that the biggest problems at Bungie are the leadership. They've got incredibly talented people. They got a wonderful art department. Their world building, gun building, lore building, storytelling. All those people are very talented. The leadership is just dadgum awful. If you go read that IGN Rebecca Valentine puff piece about the misconduct at the company, and you actually read it with a scrutinous eye, you can clearly see that company is so interwoven with toxicity within the leadership. I mean, they haven't even remotely scratched the surface. You think Chris Barrett was bad. Chris Barrett was a choir boy compared to some of the people at that company and what they've done. He was nothing compared to what's happened at that company. Just you wait. Just you wait. The truth always comes out. Always. And I'm here to tell you, you go read that IGN puff piece, which is why her hit piece on Black Myth Wukong to me was a joke. It didn't have the same level of ferociousness with Bungie because, you know, everybody likes to stay in good with Bungie. I'm here to tell you, they need to get that leadership out the door. And I think that's why Sony had no problem. They had no problem firing back in the Chris Barrett lawsuit. I think Chris Barrett was betting that Bungie wouldn't want to go through a discovery process because of all the crap that's happened at the company. And Sony said, I'm your Huckleberry. I'll expose your gross DMs and emails, and I'll make you look real stupid because PlayStation has no problem with Bungie going to court and getting exposed because then they'd have grounds to fire all that leadership, and then that's a lot less people to pay those amortized payments in 2026. I don't think PlayStation gives a rip about going to court and seeing Bungie exposed. They don't care. I think that's why they fired back. And I think that that's the best thing for the company. The best thing for Bungie would be a complete leadership shakeup. Get them out of there. The case is closed. I have no idea where the case stands, Behemoth. I have no idea. I don't know if he's withdrawn his suit or not. I don't know. I would imagine you would turn, tuck tail, and run after all that stuff got exposed. You know, actual evidence. You know. Anyway. Madam's in here looking at me. You know, like real evidence. You know, real paper trails. Those are really inconvenient. I would imagine you would just turn, tuck tail, and run after that. It's still going? Yeah, well, wrongful firing suits like that are not going to be quick, I would imagine. What court's that case in? I have no idea. Sony wants the fight. They want that fight bad. I think Bungie is probably terrified of that case. They're probably terrified. I wouldn't be surprised if internally Bungie leadership is like heavily arguing with Sony. Let's just settle. Let us settle. We don't want to do this. I guarantee you they don't want this court case going to trial. That discovery process will be biblical. Yeah. Does Madam still play D2? No. Does Lona play World of Warcraft? No. What do you think of the new one-button rotation autoplay they're adding? I don't even know what that is. I don't play World of Warcraft. If you guys are watching on YouTube, thanks for the great turnout today, man. Smash that like button. Get us to 300 likes. If you guys are watching on Twitch, click follow so you can talk in my chat, or become a subscriber to my Twitch channel so you never see an ad. I run ads regularly on Twitch so we don't have pre-rolls. You can avoid all those ads if you're a sub. You can use your Prime. Maybe you'll get a gifted. We have a friendly competition. Twitch just Can't hang with YouTube right now. Chris has to know where some of the bodies are buried. Why you got to bring religion into this? No, I'm quoting a movie. It's not religion. That's like a saying. Game Pass is kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, you get major releases day one. Why are you talking about that? I think what Manuel was talking about is something similar to how Call of Duty does cross-progressing for their Warzone and multiplayer. Microsoft increased their prices today. I mean, yeah, a VIP from Ben says smash that like button and he gets us to 267. Thank you so much. Bumping the little contest as well. And Twitch, our sub goal here is for the next sub point threshold. We're about 20 subs away. Excuse me. YouTube subs a lot cheaper than Twitch subs? No, we just have crazy people that go insane over here with gifting. You guys get a couple heavy hitters on Twitch, and it'll be a knockdown, drag-out fight every day, but you need people dropping like 10 bombs and 20 bombs. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're competing with on YouTube. Like, a couple of people on YouTube, you know, click a few buttons, and they're winning. Like, there's just some monsters on YouTube. I thought revenue was down. Yes. Seething and malding over no pre-orders for Borderlands 4 yet. Seething and malding, I say. Game looks great. It does look really, really good. It does. Very, very... I felt like it's very... There's a lot of Destiny influence there. A lot of Destiny influence. My neighbor's enjoying the weather. Sat on his porch. Sunglasses and a wolf shirt. Wolf shirts, dude. You gotta watch out for those wolf shirt boys. You gotta watch out. You gotta watch out, man. They are, they're an interesting bunch. Somebody right now is wearing a wolf shirt. They're like, hey, what? Excuse me. I don't know, Borderlands 4 looked bad to me. Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about that. So, if you guys watch the Borderlands 4 gameplay, state of play, whatever the heck they call it, they called it a Borderlands 4 state of play, but it was also like a Borderlands deep dive, right? The complaints I saw, so like Asmongold was like, it started out as a 6, and he admitted, he's like, it looked better as time went on, right? It looked better to him as time went on. But he said it looked blurry and kind of ugly and like muddy. He used words like that. He said it's not the art style. He's like, it just doesn't look good. It looked dirty. He kept saying things like that. Well, I'll tell you what the problem was. It was running at a low FOV and 30 FPS, so it didn't look crisp and clear. Yo, Oblet uses their Prime sub on Twitch and gets us to a nice even 20. Okay, also, guys, every 25 members, I give 5. So, Twitch, you're the closest you've been all week to making me give some members over here. Thank you, Oblet. We're 5 away. So, it is a little strange. I didn't include this in my reaction. I almost did, but I cut it out because I felt like it was going to distract from my feedback. I am very surprised that PlayStation was okay with that showcase in the way that it was, because it's a PlayStation state of play. They said they captured the footage on the PS5 Pro, and they showed shallow FOV 30 FPS gameplay. Like, that's why it didn't look crisp and clear. Like, they were running it at 30 FPS. I have no idea why. It makes no sense. It's like, that showcase did not, and I mean did not, show off the power of the PS5 Pro. It looked bad. Ray tracing? No. Ray tracing global illumination is on in AC shadows, and it's rock solid 60. Borderlands isn't nearly as demanding. 30 FPS on the Pro, why? I don't think it's going to run at 30. I think there are companies who still run their trailers, their cutscenes, their capture. They all run it through 30 FPS, and I have no idea why they do that. It doesn't make an ounce of sense. Hear me clearly. That game will not be a 30 FPS game, boys. It won't. It will be 60. They will have an FOV slider. I have no idea why they did that. We still, every year we tune into showcases, state of plays, and events, and we're like, why are they showing 30 FPS gameplay? And then the game comes out and it's 60, and we're like, what the frick? The Ghost of Yote trailer? Yeah, the Ghost of Yote trailer was 30. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Could it be an old build? Wasn't using PSSR correctly? I have zero idea. I don't know. I have no idea. This is not the first showcase, trailer, or event where I've been telling people, guys, companies keep doing this and we don't know why. This will be a 60 FPS game. I have no idea why they're doing this. Borderlands 3 is 4K 60. Right, that game, that engine, that fidelity, that art style, it's not going to be a 30 FPS game. There's no dadgum way. Yote might be 30. It will not be 30. Do we have confirmation of 60 yet? No, you're listen. With love, you're talking utter nonsense if you think a first-party PlayStation studio is dropping a game at 30. Like, you're either drunk or sleepwalking. There is no way. PlayStation first-party studios do not ship games at 30. They don't, and they won't. That is not a thing that will happen this gen. It will not happen going forward. No. Like, you don't walk out with Mark Cerny talking about the Pro, talking about, like, choosing between quality and frame rate, and people prefer frame rate over quality like 3 out of 4. You don't have Mark Cerny saying that and let one of your studios ship a 30 FPS game. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I hope you're right. I would put money on it. I would literally bet a large sum of money because that's how confident I am. They're not going to ship first-party studio PlayStation games at 30. There's no way. Especially considering Sucker Punch built Tsushima and focused a lot of their attention with the director's cut and enhancements and improvements on making that game look and run even better on the PS5 because it was a PS4 game. I can't see Sucker Punch suddenly being like, yeah, we suddenly couldn't figure it out. It's 30. Like, no way. Nuh-uh. They can't do the trailer at 60 FPS. So many people would have playback issues. It's very, very, very common. It's very, very common for trailers and gameplay debuts to consistently be at 30 FPS, and I have zero idea why. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. Yeah. Guys, make sure if you're watching on YouTube, let's get that like count to budge and jump. It's we're dealing with that weird thing again where it's like it's not saving your likes. So thank you guys so much. It's not on the PS4. No, it's PS5 only game. 30 is more cinematic. Shut the frick up. Wired rope. Silent Spartan with a $5 super chat tip on YouTube. One thing I hope dies in gaming industry is 30 FPS cutscenes in 60 FPS games. Absolute garbage. It's super jarring. Yeah, it's super jarring. Like in AC Shadows, I'm always like, what happened? Yeah. We're one super chat away from Confetto. We're 8 members away from me owing you a 10 bomb on YouTube. We're 5 Twitch subs away from me owing you guys over here on Twitch. Under promise, over deliver. It's prettier. They want to show off as much detail as possible. Daniel Ahmad says, this will lead to reevaluations for companies. It will ultimately lead to increased prices, game delays, game cancellations, layoffs, and more. Even if the tariffs are reversed today, this is already taking place. Ain't many Christmas. Who said 30 FPS is more cinematic? Get him out. Oh. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing, boys. Hang on, I'm gonna do a little experiment here. Hang on 1 second. Save. And then save. Yo, Dark Taco with the $20 super chat makes it rain confetti. Thank you so much. And he says, Lono, before Ziggler took over the marathon, the team was shooting for a dynamic overworld that people could hop in and out of. Instead, we've got set matches. Do you think they killed what was going to make it unique and stand out? Well, thank you for the $20 super chat. That's very, very kind of you, and thank you for making it rain confetti. I continue to think, I don't know Ziegler. I don't have anything against him. I think him taking over the project was the beginning of the end. I mean it. I think when you change leadership and you change direction the way that they did, I think it immediately is a huge risk. It is an enormous risk to do that. It is. There we go. New super chat goal for you guys. Thanks for making it rain confetti. Oh, and I have to add to the total. When I gift a single like that, it adds to the total. There we go. YouTube on the day with 55. Like, I don't think it's his fault. Like, I don't think, like, he walked in the room and he ruined everything. I think he walked in the room, and as new leaders tend to do, they shift direction. They make changes. It's tectonic. It's disruptive. It's upsetting to the team. There were probably people that liked working with Chris Barrett, right? If they didn't have any issues with him, if they didn't have any of the awkward experiences with him, or you know, complained about him to HR and all that, if they were people that were totally fine with him, they probably liked working with him. They probably had shared vision and ideas about like where things were going. And when he leaves and they bring in a new leader and that leader starts changing things, you're going to have a lot of disgruntled people. They might be kind of grumbling, like, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't want to do that. That's not what we were building. That's not what we were doing. I played 5 to 6 matches of Arcraiders yesterday. The game has the sauce, says Sven. The shared vision just got canned. In other words, he ruined everything. Well, no. It's not. I don't want to make it seem like he's some kind of negative causality, right? A single up on the count here. A member plus renewal from Marvel. Thank you so much, Marvel. That gets us to 269. Nice. A $5 super chat from Slothcat Gaming. Marathon's DOA compared to Arcraiders. We're getting a lot of you guys coming in on that subject. I've seen a lot of people making those comparisons, Arcraiders to Marathon. I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it feels like to me. One of them feels like they have an understanding of what should happen with an extraction shooter, and the other just doesn't. Replacing a director is not easy. That's what I'm saying. It's not easy. It causes issues. It causes problems. And, you know, in this particular situation, I think it was probably, it was I don't want to use the word violent like haphazardly, but it probably was like experientially pretty violent. To like show up and you're like, where's Barrett? And they're like, well, he's gone and this guy's now in charge. Like that's just extremely disruptive. That's like, what? What's happening? What did he do? Well, we're not going to talk about it. Oh, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine being on that team and then having and going through that and not really understanding what was going on. And you're going to hear water cooler whispers and rumors, you know, throughout the company about it. You're going to hear, you know, the rumor mill version of what happened. And I think when that experience, you know, when a team experiences that, I think that is going to have an adverse effect on the team's cohesion, their morale, you know, their desire to make the changes or their desire to ship the product, you know. Those Xbox prices, yeah, the impending Xbox price increases. The big question mark in the room now is, will PlayStation follow suit or will PlayStation hold? right? PlayStation could hold. And if PlayStation holds, they could really cement themselves as a far more competitive offer, like when GTA 6 rolls around. To see an Xbox Series X and an Xbox Series X, 2 terabyte in the pricing threshold of a PS5 Pro, and you can go get a PS5 digital for like $450, and you got GTA 6 bundles, potentially. We don't know for sure. I don't know. We'll see. PlayStation's in the position of power right now because they could just be like, let's wait. Let's not say anything. They could hold. They could hold until the holidays. They could literally not do anything and they automatically would just benefit from this. Like, just the news and the headlines alone benefits them. The Series S is $379. You can get a PS5 digital for $400 with Astrobot. Yeah, I forgot about the Astrobot bundles that were $400. Yeah, like a Series S being $20 cheaper than a PS5 digital. I'm here to tell you, man, PlayStation could literally just not say anything for 2 months. Holding out is not an option. They will absolutely, without question, follow suit. Shareholders will demand it. Not necessarily. Shareholders could say, hold. It'll give us a competitive edge. Yeah, hold. No. We're already on an upswing. We got GTA 6 projections already in the field. Just hold. Don't do anything. Now, they could, rather strategically, do the bump right before GTA 6 hits because they know that people are going to turn off their brains and just buy, and then they could make a ton of extra money. And they could get pressure from C-suite, from the board, from the shareholders to do that. Like, hey, we know demand for GTA 6 is going to be through the roof. Xbox just raised their prices. Now, PlayStation may push back and say, now listen, Xbox is not a competitor anymore. Them raising their prices doesn't have an impact on what we're doing. We can ignore that, and we can just hold the course and just naturally get all of the sales. Like, we can just wait and get all the sales and maybe raise next year, or maybe raise them, before the holidays. I sent you an article in a DM. Classic slimy move. I mean, it's not slimy to raise your prices. And Cardok Ren drops a 10 bomb of members on YouTube, just like that. Kaboom! And takes... members on Twitch. 10 members on Twitch. I'm so sorry. I'm misreading. Now it's a little bit of a competition. Cardok Ren takes the lead position on the gifting board as well. 11. He's in the number 1 spot over Wired Rope now. You sent me a DM, Brooklyn. What you got? Just in case everybody forgot, PlayStation did announce their plan about tariffs already. Do not be surprised about the consoles going up in price. Sony would need to assess how quickly it can move production of U.S. units to Japan and how many would be produced in China and how quickly it can start producing in Vietnam, Ahmad wrote on X. The firm would then need to evaluate how these tariffs would impact current profit margins and how much they would need to increase hardware prices for the consumer. Yeah, but I thought they shored up a bunch of units in the U.S. already to basically help avoid this. And Narwaffle comes in with a 5 bomb on Twitch and gets us to 35. Here they come. Twitch wants it. This is the day. This is the day that Twitch fights back. Come on, boys. I owe you guys some members over here as well now. How do I do it? Do I have to... Hang on. Here we go. Get the subscription. I owe you guys 5. Every 25... I have to do 5. So thank you so much for being here and making that possible, right? If this hits 50 for Twitch, I'll owe you 5 more. So thank you so much for being here. I'm now in 9th place. I'm the 9th highest gifter. They stockpiled PS5s in the US. So all games going to 80 this gen now, apparently. I was hoping it would start next gen. Yeah, it'll be the AAA. According to Xbox, it's not going to be every game. It'll be the AAAs, right? So like Call of Duty is assuredly going to be 80. GTA 6 probably going to be 80. You know, so it wouldn't surprise me in the least if you see all major AAAs after the summer are probably going to be 80. Yote 70. Yeah, I suppose if they've already announced their price, they'll probably stay at 70. Probably. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if, like, post-summer, everything that gets announced, everything that gets put out there, pre-ordered, you blah, 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 they'll all be 80. Yeah. Thanks, Nintendo. I don't think it's Nintendo's fault. I think this was going to happen regardless. Nintendo could have delayed all their stuff and said nothing. I still think Xbox would have walked out and announced these price increases. Xbox is increasing the prices of all their hardware, all their accessories, and games. This has nothing to do with Nintendo. Nothing to do with Nintendo. A plan like this that Xbox just rolled out was in motion for a while. I don't think like Xbox executives were like, well, there you go. The Mario Kart's at 80. Push out a price increase on all hardware, all accessories, controllers, yeah, everything. I don't think so. Xbox better keep that quality up. If they won't do 80, if it drops like the beginning of this gen. Well, wait, what happened? Polygon is finished. Mike Straw reporting. This isn't good. My heart breaks for everyone. If you are at PAX or Summer Game Fest, I want to see you. I want to take you out for drinks or food. Polygon sold to Valnet and hit with mass layoffs. The video... I can't read your article because of the ads, Kotaku. The video game website Polygon has been sold to Valnet, and much of its staff has been laid off. Founded in 2012 under Vox Media, the site quickly established itself as one of the premier and original reviews of reporting cultural analysis. Had a great time working at Polygon, said senior writer Michael McWhirter on Blue Sky. Please let me know if you have any cool job openings. The story is developing. Okay, we don't have any specifics. Okay, you guys are submitting questions. This is something you can do as a member on YouTube, or you can do it as a sub on Twitch. Nightbot, grab it. Give me 1 second, though. We have a super chat from SDO who says, so the Pro is overpriced at $700, but a base Series X that has parity with the Series S is well priced at $600. That's a question for the Xbox boys, not for me. Anyway, guys on YouTube, double check if you're lurking, if you're listening and enjoying the show. Double check that you've hit like. First question submitted today came from Kai No Man Sky. He says, with the PS5 Pro price performance being pretty good, what do you think the PS6 will provide realistically at what price? Disk drive availability or not? I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of input on this one. You know, it's so far out. Yeah, the queue. I didn't reset the queue, Pac-Man on a bike. You're the next question. Don't worry. I don't know. The Pro. I would imagine that Project Amethyst is going to significantly elevate what the PS6 can do. I think a lot of it's going to center around machine learning and AI. Purchase invoice. Oh, I forgot that when you gift members on Twitch, you get like an invoice. I'm like, what the frick is this? Okay. Blip. Crazy blip. Sounds out of sync now. YouTube, you're going to have to refresh if you have a sound problem. Yeah, Twitch had no problem, so it's not my connection. It's a YouTube issue. Multi-streaming definitely helps me know when it's me and when it's YouTube. Because that was, yeah, Twitch didn't even feel it. Willie Kale with 34 months at a member plus. Did I miss all the Borderlands 4 talk? Stupid job that pays all my bills. Borderlands 4 looking fantastic. Weapons looking dope. Building into them even better. Yo, Willie, thank you so much. We're exactly 5 members away from me owing you guys 10 members. 10 members on YouTube. So thank you so much, Willie Kale. Somebody drops that 5 bomb. I'm dropping a 10 bomb. YouTube's cranky today. They've been having issues on the back end of YouTube. I had so many errors and glitches yesterday. It kept telling me that I needed to do like a verified thing to edit or to put hyperlinks in my descriptions. I was like, what the frick? I did that a long time ago. Guys, do me a favor. Whenever we have a blip like that on YouTube, we're going to lose a lot of people. We can soften the blow of that. Get us to 300 likes. If you got a membership to celebrate, do it. Blipping like crazy. Just refresh if you keep getting blips. That'll fix it. YouTube was bad yesterday. Check down detector. Yeah, we had all kind of weird behavior yesterday. You finished Shadows yet? No, I did not get to play last night. My wife and I, when we got back from church, we had a late dinner and we watched Andor. I don't know, all next-gen consoles need to be paused with prices going this high. We're fixing to hit a massive crash in this industry when Series X can't sell. Now sees a raise in price. Just no. I don't think we're headed to a crash at all. The price increase is not an indication of a crash. No spoilers. It is slow, but it is very good. If you didn't like the slowness of Season 1, you're going to be in bad shape because Season 2 is pretty slow. But I like it. I like the slow burn. I think it's been excellent. If you're able to binge, especially, like first 3 were like, okay. And then it picked up from there. Okay, let's go to these questions that you guys are submitting. And we've got a bit of a contest today between Twitch and YouTube. If Twitch shows up. I haven't found it slow at all. Not slow as in like, it does, like nothing happens. It's just a calm. It's a very like more subdued. It's subdued. There's some awesome moments, but it's very subdued. There's lots of dialogue. There's lots of very spy political thriller. You know, I love it. I'm enjoying it, but it is a little bit. It is a slow show in my mind. $5 super chat tip from On Nobody. Definitely looking forward to Borderlands now. The gameplay review was pretty good. Suck it, Twitch. Preachy Creamy renews their sub and gets us to 271. Oh, what I was going to say to Willie Kale about Borderlands, I interrupted myself, I think, or somebody interrupted me. I don't know. I blame chat. If I lose my train of thought, it's always chat's fault. It's always your fault. Anyways, the thing that really stuck out to me in Borderlands 4 was how much inspiration it took from Destiny. You have a ghost. You have like event item things to do in the public space. You have a double jump. You have a glide. You have a dash. Movement very much feel influenced by Destiny. You basically have a sparrow. The sort of like open world sort of design felt very Destiny-esque. Like there was a lot about it that I felt like Destiny influence. I don't know. When he was moving around and getting in those fights and stuff, I was like, I'm all about this. This feels dope. It feels dope. It looks so good. I want to see more. And the gunplay and the punchy, crunchy sound of the guns, I was like, dude, I'm in. I'm so in. It looked very, very good. Pac-Man on a bike says, with these Xbox price increases, how long until Game Pass goes up? Yeah, I think the Game Pass will inevitably go up. There were rumors that they were considering a bump in price. For Game Pass, and it was going to be like in April. So it's kind of interesting that as soon as we get into May, we hear about price increases at Xbox. We're just on the other side of April. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if we see that happen. If we see Game Pass bump again. It just, I don't know. Like, to me, I don't think subscriptions like that can stay static because they plateaued. So naturally, what they're going to do when they plateaued is they're going to start. They're going to start raising the price. You know. I wonder if the rumors we heard were just about Game Pass. It could have been all of this. Those rumors that we heard could have been about everything that just rolled out. I mean, it's very possible. I'm like maybe some of the decisions on hardware price increase were a reason to keep Game Pass the same for now. I mean, maybe. I could see Ultimate going to $25. You know, I can see Ultimate going to 25. You know, here we go. A question from JC Mag, middle-aged gamer guy. Love you, Mag. He said Borderlands 4 moved its release date soon for Sony to put more time between Borderlands 4 and Yote. What's your opinion on this? Mag is full of crap. I'm just kidding. No. I mean, the fact that they're doing a state of play with Gearbox, there could have been internal dialogue about that. My opinion's very different than Mag's. I think, especially after what we saw yesterday, there is such a very clear amount of Destiny influence in Borderlands 4. I don't think they wanted to go up against Bungie. Like, Bungie is not a company that you want to be sharing the stage with. Bungie will push hard with hype, with streams, with reveals, with Q&A. They'll do big sponsored streams, and you don't want to be sharing the stage with that. Why? Because you know your game. There is not a doubt in my mind that internally, Gearbox knows a big portion of the people that will be interested in buying their game and diving in day one are Bungie fans, are Destiny players. I'm just creeping on Twitch at the moment, getting them bits. Thanks, Def Driver. So glad you're back. Thank you. So, like, do you really want to be like, hey, Destiny fans, hey, Bungie fans, take a look at Borderlands 4. You can clearly see the influence. There's no doubt in my mind that Destiny players were watching yesterday and were like, yo, that looks like a Sparrow. That looks like a Ghost. Some of that movement kind of reminds me of a Warlock. This game's got something. Also, there's huge overlap between Borderlands and Destiny by default because they're both looter shooters. So I think it has way more to do with that. Like, they don't want to be near Bungie because they want all of the Bungie fans, all the Bungie streamers, all the Destiny fans, all the Destiny streamers. They want them all streaming and playing and talking about Borderlands. The influences kind of turned me off. You've never been a big Borderlands fan anyway. I don't know what would win you over. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you were turned on to begin with about Borderlands. There wasn't a turning off to be had. In my opinion, from your feedback over the years, Eugene, I don't think you've ever been like a Borderlands guy. Interesting take. That's the way I see it after that reveal. The initial reveal had me interested. So then explain to me why don't you like the influences? Do you worry that it's going to be like, is it going to be like diluted as a brand, like not feel good, not play well? Like why do the influences turn you off? SDO with a £5 tip. The price increase shows Xbox has given up on console sales. They just want to sell the hardcore Xbox guys who will never move to PlayStation or PC. I talked about that a little bit in the show open. I think it really calls into question, like, their declining hardware sales. They were expecting that. And if they were expecting a decline in hardware sales and they're also raising the price, it's like, how confident are we that Microsoft is going to be like, no, yeah, go ahead, keep doing hardware? You know what I mean? It loses an aspect of uniqueness. So running around and not being able to do any of those things like we had in Borderlands 1 and 2, what's unique about that? What's unique about not being able to double jump not being able to climb walls, not being able to glide, or have like, I mean, they've always done vehicles, so I guess the vehicle's not that big of a deal. Hunter, if you're having issues with audio, reset your stream. We had a blip earlier that causes that. How is that unique? There's never been anything unique about Borderlands' movement system. It's just like you run around and shoot. I've always said one of the biggest problems with Borderlands' movement system is that there's no lateral agility, there's no vertical agility. You just face tank a lot of the times. You just kind of stand there and get shot, or you know when they're going to shoot and you just kind of like get out of the way. You just kind of like sidestep. Pharaoh's fusion rifles, grapple-like stand, warlock glide. There were other things as well. Yeah, but I'm going back to your original statement that, like, it takes away some of the uniqueness. I don't think the movement in Borderlands up to now had anything that was unique. It was all very basic. What did Hotshot say? You didn't need to say that they put Xbox games on PlayStation. I know that as well. What's Hotshot saying? They also gave Sony a free 30% cut, and that 70% isn't profit. That's still revenue. That's needed to make the $70 billion back. If Lono sold beer, I'd be the first in line. Yeah, Sprecher doesn't. I don't think we're going to be doing that. Ryan seems rather not happy with Xbox. Ryan McCaffrey from IGN tweeting the following: $599 for the 5-year-old Xbox Series X. Tariffs or not, it's pure insanity. Microsoft is $1 trillion company in the razor blade business. They'll get zero sympathy from anyone. Mourn bad news at the link. IGN reporting on it. Well, there you go. Murphy says, we've been eating good game-wise this year. What are your top games of the year so far? Assassin's Creed Shadows has been an absolute blast. It's getting a little long in the tooth. I read an article today that it fell prey to the same problem as Valhalla. There was like a trending Reddit thread where the guy basically said, I got 90 hours in and I'm once again like feeling that like, you guys went too big. I don't want to go to the next region. I have no freaking clue what's going on with the story. I tend to agree. I think AC Shadows started out really strong for me. I think they made a fundamental error. I think they should have aimed at having like the core story hitting like 30 hours, maybe 35, and then all the extras are there for people that want them, right? But like, I'm at 40 hours and I'm like, brother, I'm button mashing through cutscenes. Like, I don't even care anymore. I'm like, just get me to the dadgum credits. Like, it's fun and the combat's fun, but you can only do that so much before, like I told you guys yesterday in that boss fight, I'm like, this is what the boss fights have really devolved into in the late stages. The guy just does 8 red attacks in a row, and eventually you get your perfect dodge and then you get to attack back. Like, the combat system's not built for this level of content. It's like the combat system in Tsushima, the reason that worked and that you could kind of go the distance and put in tons of hours is because you had stances, and within those stances you had abilities, and those stances and abilities would change on the fly depending on the duel, depending on the enemy, depending on the mini boss, depending on the brute. Like, there was so much more of a layered amount of things that could happen in Tsushima that you didn't feel like in the 60th hour, like, I can't do this anymore. But in Assassin's Creed, it's like I'm not much has changed, so the 40th hour feels like the 4th hour, and that just doesn't work. I prefer my game experiences to feel separate from each other, says Eugene. I'm going to play one open world samurai game, and that will be Yote, so I won't touch Assassin's Creed. If I'm going to play a new looter shooter, I would prefer not to have aspects that make it feel like I'm playing one I've already played. I get what you're saying. I think you're overstating how much the movement will feel like Destiny because of the guns, the grenades, and the action abilities. I think that will make it distinct. Right? Like, I think that will make it distinct. Like, just because you can double jump and glide doesn't mean that, like, the combat's going to feel completely different. Because you're, like, summoning a tiger. Or, like, the one thing she did, she's, like, suddenly in, like, a gun, like a gunship, just like a like that. That's none of that's Destiny. Like, just because I can double jump and glide, I think maybe you're overstating a teeny bit. I think your Yote to Assassin's Creed makes perfectly good sense. Like, it totally makes sense that you're like, I would rather play Yote. I don't want to play 2 open world samurai games. That makes sense. I think the movement in Borderlands 4 being, I think, clearly inspired by Destiny, that inspiration's not strong enough to be like, oh, I feel like I'm playing Destiny. No, I don't think so. So, guys, we need 10 more likes on YouTube. Smash it. Smash it home. Let's do it. Let me pull up another question. And let me know on YouTube if you guys get ads. I'm running a little bit of an experiment today. You shouldn't be getting ads. My other top games this year, Murphy, Expedition 33. I'm salivating to jump into that. Just absolutely salivating. What were some other games that came out this year that I played? I've been moving through the backlog so much. So many games, because I played Tales of Iron 1 and 2. Tales of Iron 2 was new. I liked that well enough. I finished Kena Bridge of Spirits and FF16 and Death Stranding. Loved all of that. Yeah, Blueprints was really good. Nine Souls was really good. Yeah, Kazan, First Berserker Kazan feels fantastic. It's in the backlog. I didn't touch Monster Hunter for very long. Not my cup of tea. Split Fiction. Split Fiction was really, really good. Yeah. Yeah. Those were all great games. I mean, Doom is right around the corner. Blades of Fire. Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. If they would have just let me save it anytime I wanted, I'd have gotten lost in that game. I was really liking it, but the saving mechanic just turned me off. Yeah, I did. I played Kazan for you guys, and then I shelved it. It's a backlog game. I have to finish AC Shadows. So, Haseo says, when do you think we see AAA studios go to AA budgets with AAA quality? Do you think it will be the end of this gen or sometime in the next gen? It's going to happen near the end of this gen. You're going to see studios that typically do just like big AAA budget games. You're going to see, I think, smaller projects from them. I think one of the first evidences of this we're going to see is with Spider-Man 3 from Insomniac. If they go forward with their Part 1, Part 2 strategy, I think what they'll do is they'll deliver Part 1 of Spider-Man 3. It'll be AAA quality, but it might be smaller in size. And then Part 2 comes out, like a year later or whatever. It could be $50 for each. Helldivers 2 is gearing up for some news. Developer Arrowhead Game Studios seems confident it will impress, or as Arrowhead CEO is framing it, you might want to prepare yourself. And there it is. Alex does a super chat and makes confetti. I'll most likely play as a Siren again because her abilities give me Infamous vibes. Which Vault Hunter are you playing? I thought the guy that had I thought the other guy that they showed looked really, really cool. I thought he looked really, really cool. I got to add to the member count, though. That's going to take us to 272. And in the contest between YouTube and Twitch, it's now 59 to 35. Twitch, you guys could easily fight back. Easily. Let me do this here. And 3 more members on YouTube, and I'll owe you 10. I've been holding off and doing 10 bombs instead of 5 bombs. Because then it protects me from getting the gifting shut down. There you go. There's the one that I owe you for the super chats. Let me reset the super chat goal. There we go. ArcRaider being third person got me interested over Marathon. ArcRaiders also has people not interested because it's third person. Giving it to me. Is that who it went to? Drewski says, for me, the art style, tone, and gameplay between Borderlands and Destiny is different enough that I can't see the movement changes making me feel like I'm playing the same game. I agree with you, Drewski. I agree with you. To me, it's more influence than copy. You know what I mean? Fight on both sides. Dev Driver is talking in both chats. He says, fight on both sides. That's right. That's right. I missed the last 5 minutes. Can everything be repeated, please? Oh, Charles. Madam picked a bourbon. She wants, I don't know what it costs. She wants Woodford Double Double. I'm gonna try and get it for her today. I think if it's not there, there's a Bondstone toasted that I think I'm gonna get her. Third person PvP is questionable. I saw a clip of a guy showcasing how 3-peaking is so easy and scummy. I mean, I get why people don't like, got you on Friday, my man. I get why people don't like third-person PvP. I get it. But it's been around for such a long time. In games like PUBG, in games like Fortnite, Woodford Double Double. The guy at the store told us about it. I don't know when they ship it. Woodford Double Double ship dates. It was available during January of 2025. Oh, that's too expensive. Let's just do the Bondstone toasted. That's too much. That's like a $200 honey bottle. That's too much. I'll do that for her for like her birthday or something. I think the Bondstone toasted is the one that we wanted. Yeah, the toasted. That's like a $45 bottle. That's far more reasonable. The double double is like, to me, that's, I don't know, that's overpriced. That's like special occasion. I'll get it for her birthday or something. You love third person games. I think the split on first person, third person, it's always going to be like a frustration point, right? It's always going to be a frustration point because there are people that just don't want to play third person. They just have no interest. And then there are people that just don't want to play first person. Like, they love third. Yo, Tiger 2 Actual with the member light. If you are paying for your own membership on YouTube, you want to make sure you're at a member plus. You want to make sure you're at member plus. Third person's great for PvE. I mean, I tend to agree that, like, in a PvP environment, the frustration of, like, getting 3-peaked, I could see why people are like, dude, no, thank you. They removed the ability to sword peek in D2 PvP. Oh, yeah, because people always did it. Especially because you could peek with the hilts. Like, you didn't even need ammo, right? Couldn't you totally 3-peek with just the hilt? I felt like that was how it worked. Is like you could totally not, you didn't even need ammo. Do you think there could be other turn-based games in the future that put Expedition 33 systems in their games? Maybe. Wilbur, you got an ad? Okay. I was trying something. You got an ad? Okay. I was trying something. I was turning it off and on, and we were literally getting viewership bumps from me doing it. I was like, I would literally turn it on, like automated, and like 10 seconds later, I would turn it off. And we were getting viewership bumps from it. YouTube. And so this time I turned it on and I waited 60 seconds and I turned it back off. You guys got ads and it hurt viewership. It's just, you want the money? I'll buy you a bottle for Friday. Oh, I saw that at the store, Fuzzy. I'll try larceny. They had it at the store. Does YouTube hurt your reach? It certainly feels that way. Yeah, they have large. Which one? They have small batch. They have larceny barrel proof. Small batch. Which one do you think is the one to get? I'll try larceny. Hearing that off screen makes it sound like you're going to commit a crime. I mean, I'll try anything once. You know, arson, larceny, Grand Theft Auto. You just picked up another bottle the other day? Oh, golly. See if Stars does something similar. The main difference is when you parry all the attacks, the character party counters attack. There are party counters, aren't there, in Expedition 33? I'm pretty sure. Petrov submits a question. Says, do you think Death Stranding 2 is going to sell well? I do. White label small batch. Yeah, the white label small batch is like a $45 bottle, like a $40 bottle. That's very reasonable. That's super reasonable. That's not bad at all. Death Stranding 2 is going to kill it. No, I've never tried Tennessee Honey. I think that Death Stranding 1 has aged very well. I think Kojima is aging well. I think people think of him and Death Stranding 2 in a more fond or stronger way than historically. Like, I don't think Death Stranding did the best when it came out with, like, public perception, review reception. It did get nominations. I think Death Stranding 2 is going to get a much stronger response. There have been so many people that did what I did. They went back to Death Stranding 1 and they're like, wait a minute, I missed out on a masterpiece. You know, I got to get past the first 4 hours of cutscenes and carrying stuff. There's actually a really good game here. Like, right? A lot of people did that. Oh, it has parry but no counterattack. Okay. Yeah, so I think Death Stranding 2 is gonna do very well. Yes. Let's see here. PG Creamy says, with the great sales of Microsoft games on PlayStation, do you think Sony could ask Microsoft to delay Game Pass day and date a week or two to boost early sales? I mean, it's one thing to raise the price of Game Pass. It's another thing to completely eradicate day and date. I mean, they moved day and date to Ultimate. That's pretty tectonic. I feel like the Xbox guys just don't really acknowledge that it went from day and date on Game Pass, day and date on Game Pass, day and date on Game Pass to day and date on Game Pass Ultimate. Oh, and Ultimate's also more expensive now. Like, that's pretty significant. I think a lot of them didn't complain because they had snagged, 10 years of Game Pass for like $1 or whatever. So I think a lot of them didn't say much about it. Now, if you eradicate the idea of day and date, so it's like, oh yeah, you can play it in 2 weeks on Game Pass. At that point, pack it up. Like, that Game Pass is no longer Game Pass at that point. It's become a version of like Game Pass Core, where like you're paying for access to a big batch of games, but you're no longer getting that day and date bonus or that day and date feature. I really do think that like day and date is already in a very different position than it used to be. So the reason I love Helldivers 2 is precisely for the well-balanced view between first and third person. I mean, there's very, very little, very, very little first person in Helldivers 2. I mean, it's just a couple of weapons, right? Where you can, like, ADS. I don't know if Microsoft can legally stop day and date for Ultimate subs. That was the marketing reason for... I don't think there's any legality involved. You can always change the terms of your sub service. You can always take features away. I don't think there's any legality involved. Like, I think if someone has paid for an entire year of Ultimate, for that entire year, they would not lose day and date. But once you would then be renewing for another year, you would be under the new terms. Like, I don't think there's anything stopping them from doing that. There's no legal issue there. Like, if I buy a subscription service under these terms, I get those terms for the duration of what I have paid for. But then once I would renew or be in a new, term era, I would be under the new terms. It's contractual like phone plans. Yeah. So, I mean, they can always say, yeah, the next time you renew for another year, you're going to be under these new terms. Yeah. Twitch, by the way, you guys are 6 subs away from the goal we've been working on all week. Thank you so much. 59 out of 65. Good work. I'm talking about them cutting off today and dropping it from existing. No. When I say that they could, man of my word, a $30 super chat from my man Fuzzy. I'll pick it up tonight, Fuzzy. I'm supposed to get something from Adam tonight after my hair's cut. Is my hair cut tonight or tomorrow? I feel like it's tonight. It is tonight. And I have a phone call at when? Why is it not on my calendar? I have a phone call at like 3, I think. 3 or 3:30. With a potential sponsor. So, your question's hypothetical? Okay. Cat Uncle asks a question. When do you think Starfield will make the jump to PlayStation? I don't know. At this point, I'm really wondering what they're doing with it. Like, are they doing... I sure hope it's tonight. Shut the frick up. I don't know what they're doing with Starfield. And we are just hemorrhaging after that. That is so weird. YouTube is funky. I feel like you get a haircut every week. No, I get a haircut every 5 or 6 weeks. That's the interval right now, 5 or 6. With Starfield, I feel like at this point, if they want to bring it to PlayStation, I think there's got to be like a compelling, like almost like a direct. And a 5 bomb comes in from Siriu and takes us to 277. And I owe you guys 10 members on YouTube. Twitch put up a better fight today. It was a lot closer, but they've fallen quite a bit behind. Yeah, I feel like they would need to almost do like a direct, like a Starfield 2.0 direct, like an entire presentation on, yeah, like the Oblivion treatment. That's exactly what I'm thinking, Alex. Like, there needs to be like an undeniable boost to appearance, loading screens, just how the game feels. I don't know. And there's the 10 members that I owe you guys over here on YouTube. Thank you very much. That's not happening. I don't know. There was that one guy that said that he heard they were going to be doing some code-altering update to Starfield. I don't know. Look at the insane success of Oblivion. Right now, we know that's a long-standing title. We know that's a long-standing franchise. But, look at the success and the insane praise for Oblivion. It stands to reason you could say Starfield, director's cut or whatever. We've done this, and this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. How credible is that guy? He honestly was not known for leaks. And Alex Gifts, some subs on YouTube, 5 more. Look at that. He's making it interesting. 40 for Twitch. We are officially 1 away from the sub goal that we set. Thank you so much, Alex, for doing that over here. I believe when I see it. I'm here to tell you, if they brought over Starfield in its current state to PlayStation, there it is. We did it. Alex Gifts 1 more. Boom. 65 out of 65. That'll do it. Let's not do another one. That'll do it. Now you can just maybe try to compete with YouTube. Maybe. We'll see. Whoever wins the day, I should do something for. We should figure out an incentive. Whoever wins the day, whenever we go into green room, the current winner should get something. Quests don't have the meat. I've got to tell you, if Starfield came to PlayStation right now in its current state, I just don't think it would do well on PlayStation. I don't. What is it? Yeah, they sent me another one. What the heck is that? Yeah, I know. Oh, that's to pop keys out, probably. Yeah. It would sell pretty well. I mean, it might initially sell well because of it being... Came from Canada. I thought this was the same brand that I have now. Keymove. I thought this was the same brand that they sent me. I think Bethesda games will naturally come over and potentially have pull on the PlayStation platform. But I don't know, man. I just continue to think the push and the desire for PlayStation to have like PS5 Pro enhancements and 60 FPS and next gen graphics, Starfield just doesn't have. I don't know. Thanks for the gifted. Hey, look at your badge, Boomer. You got a gifted. You've been subbed to me for 13 months. It maintained your sub count. We got reinstated on Twitch like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I thought Keymove was the brand that I already had. What brand is this? Oh, wait, let's just use the keyboard command. I might have misread the thing. We'll have to promote this one then. Lamoki magnetic Hall effect keyboard. This is a... I swore it was the same company. I must be dreaming. Whoops. Some of you guys did the Kickstarter thing too and supported that the magnetic Hall effect keyboard. It's really, really nice. It's a nice size. The keys feel amazing. Yo, Behemoth comes over to Twitch and he makes it interesting and he drops a 5-bomb on Twitch and gets us to 46, and then YouTube's gonna jump to 65. Butters just renewed his membership. Thank you so much, Butters. 41 months, keyboard, PC gamer. Yeah, I'm a PC gamer. This is not a magnetic Hall effect. This is not. This is... These are the function key shortcuts. It's all in Japanese. I don't know. That's looking styling. I got my cable. I got my key like button extractor. That's pretty, but it needs loud clicking and RGB. Here we go. Product description. Anti-ghosting. 87% mechanical keyboard. Okay, so this is a mechanical keyboard. I thought it was the same as the other one, but different colors. I got confused. It feels really nice. It really does. Appreciate it, Beeb. Yeah, dude. Behemoth over here. It's a teeny bit larger. It's a teeny bit larger than the Lamoki one that I have. And I do like that we have like the classic home page up, page down setup there. because Lamoki doesn't do it that way. Lamoki's even smaller. It went for like a more dense approach. So like over here where the arrow keys are, you can see that it went for like a vertical and then the volume knob. So it has home, page up, and page down, like kind of like on top of each other. So that's going to be a difference in size between the two. Oh. Yeah, we've got that, and then we've got a lot of companies reaching out all of a sudden. So we got that. I'll set all that up and do a command, and we'll promote that. And I also I've got a monitor coming from somebody that I forget. I'll test it and let you guys know what I think. Yeah, that's probably true, Creature. That's probably true. I got your DM. Okay, Haseo says, regarding my last question, if Spider-Man 3 does go smaller in scope and releases in smaller portions, do you think if that goes well, other publishers would go that route? I mean, I don't know. I think they were trying to combat rising costs. They were trying to combat... You suddenly got 150,000 followers on Twitch. 160,000, I'll have you know, sir. Getting the bag back. Feels that way. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the Spider-Man thing. I feel like the Spider-Man thing, they were trying to combat rising budgetary costs, and, you know, the royalty share obviously is an issue with Spider-Man. And I think that's what they were trying to do. They were like, well, how can we, you know, number one, make more money on the property, maybe get the property, you know, to the market faster. I think that's what they were trying to do. Now, when you guys, let me ask you guys a quick question, just a housekeeping thing. When I run the automatic ads on YouTube, are they skippable? Like, how much of the ad do you have to watch? Like, I know it's disruptive. I'm just curious. Like, does it pop up and you just skip it immediately? How many paid members? I don't know. We have like 1,300 sub points. I think that's about half paying, half prime, and then the other half's gifted. You still want the Venom game? After like 5 or 10 seconds, skip immediately. Mine was skippable after 10 seconds. Okay. I mean, we're constantly running them on Twitch because it keeps pre-rolls off and then the subs never see them. I'm just trying to think if there's a happy medium, if there's somewhere we could land on YouTube. I know you guys hate it, but dadgummit, it really does. You guys know when I forget to turn it off, those streams always start stronger. When I turn it off, we start slower. Like, it's just so noticeable. Like, they're clearly tinkering with it. And if you have it turned on, it's not even about the money. Like, the ad revenue by running it is so stupid low. It's not even worth it. It's more about, they very clearly put your video in front of more people when you're running it. So unfortunate because it's so disruptive. They have something like Turbo over there. They have YouTube Premium, yes, but Premium's gone up in price. Talking about ads while playing games? No, not ads while playing games. No. Is Wolverine going to be PS6 at this point? No, I think Wolvie's next year. I think Wolverine's late next year. Yeah. But we don't skip. I don't care if you skip. I do not care if you skip. I'm trying to find a balance of, like, they want us to run it, we're not running it, we're clearly being quote unquote punished for not running it. They are limiting our reach for not running it. I can tell. They flipped the switch somewhere and it's been rough. Our uploads have been doing incredible. Like, we're getting treated really well on our uploads, which is super encouraging. But the live, it's just like, good golly. It's How much for YouTube Premium? I forget what the current price is now. They raised it. It was like 15. Isn't it like 16 now or 17 or something? I forget. And, you know, I was monkeying around with it, and we probably got punished because I was turning it off and on as an experiment, and they were probably like, hey, what the frick are you doing? Oh, it's 18 now. Jeepers. Yeah. If you spend lots and lots of time on YouTube, it is well worth it, but yeah. Yeah, it's cheap compared to like other sub-services for what you get, but I understand why somebody would be like, man, I can't do that. That's, you know. Doc Dark tweets, before y'all go and start celebrating Game Pass right now, I suggest you wait a few days and see if the price of that will go up too. Y'all willing to pay $30 a month for Game Pass? Not me, homie. Just wait. Can't wait for a subscription to just breathe clean air. Huh? They added Premium Light, but 18 is a steal for what they offer. Oh, let me slide that over. Yeah, this can hang out over here. I work from home and game on PC, so I'm YouTube 10 or 12 hours a day. Premium's worth every penny. My YouTube Premium says 14. People got to stop subbing through Apple. Game Pass is coming. PS5 Pro Astrobot Bundle is probably the best current gen deal you can find right now. $450 disc, $400 digital. Shinobi saying, get them now at that price while you can. What's the offers? So Premium, you see no ads when you're on YouTube. Like, none. You see none. And then you get access to other features like YouTube Music and stuff. YouTube Premium is the only sub-service that has been worth it to me and my family. Also, hey, Lono, been been able to catch a show. Moving with a 6-month-old is a pain. Good to see you, Street Shadow. Yes. Doing anything with a baby is like go to the grocery store, fly in an airplane, take a walk in your neighborhood. Oh, that's all sounds not too bad. You do it with a baby. Oh, well, we need the diaper bag. Oh, we need wipes. We're out of this. We're out of that. Oh, shoot. Yeah, we got the car seat. Oh, make sure you got the stroller. Make sure you have the stroller that this car seat can click into. Children are great, but it's like carrying an anvil everywhere. It's just going to slow you down. Can't believe I wrote the wrong right. I don't even know how that's possible. Right, I just Googled it and it said 14 individual and 23 family. It sounds like Apple tax. Oh yeah, if people are paying more for Premium, yeah, they might be doing it on their Apple device. Sure. Get 2 miles down the road. Did you get the diaper bag? I thought you did. Oh, let's just go home. Yep. Screw it. We'll just be shut-ins. We'll just be shut-ins until this little thing can walk, you know? Oh my gosh. Are you saying children are a disability? Oh no, I'll end up in a bunch of videos for saying something factual. Oh my gosh. The best. Ba-boom. Xbox is an effing shame. Drop the prices. Yeah. Good luck. Oh, bah. Well, let's check the news feeds, boys. It's slowing down. Chat slowing down. Questions are now completely back up to date. Queue is completely cleared out. Do. It's all Xbox in the feeds. Yeah, that price hike's going to take over. Silksong got a release date for an Australian museum exhibit before anything else, and I wish I was kidding. Says PC Gamer. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 publisher says that Elder Scrolls Oblivion didn't seem to harm us at all. No, it didn't. Yeah, I said the same thing. I said, I think they're fine. $80 games. The industry is cooked. Nope. Yeah, audiences are going to get a chance to play Hollow Knight Silksong this September in a museum. Bumblepants says, Fragpunk got a console launch today. Does it have a prayer of lasting? Let's check here. Fragpunk Steam. And then let's check Fragpunk Steam charts. Fragpunk has a 73% on Steam. That's not great for a free-to-play game. Their all-time peak was 113,000 players. They're now hitting peaks of 10,000. Like I said, every game has its peak and then it has its valley, and their floor is 10,000. No, I thought Fragpunk looked more fun than Concord, but I don't think that game has a shot. I'm telling you, anything that's like arena style is going to struggle. Splitgate's going to have the same problem. It's going to have the same problem. Like a month in, everyone's like, "Yeah, I've played enough." Like that's just generally how it seems to go. You know? I do. I think the minute you're in like the minute you are in a arena style, Splitgate 2 beta gonna wipe the floor. I think Splitgate will do the same thing. It'll have a really, really strong start, and then I think it'll do the same thing. Players will just move on. Arena style shooters, I'm here to tell you, they're just too much of a meat grinder. Like after like a week, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go play something else now. I think they really, really struggle for staying power. You know, I think they're always gonna struggle for staying power. Good time zone, everyone? Huh? Yeah, everything in the news now is Call of Duty 80, you know. That's what everybody's reporting on. That's like my whole news cycle now is Call of Duty Warzone ranked play with Verdansk is live now. Shotgun Cop is live. The rise and fall of Shotgun Cop. Shotgun Cop, man. That game did look pretty fun. Walmart lists the Series X 1 terabyte for $450 right now. That's less than the console will cost after the recent price increases. I don't know. Splitgate 2 has the... I don't know. Splitgate 2 has the it factor, in my opinion. Going to surprise people. Yeah, that's never been my debate, FCAT. My debate has never been, will it be fun? Will it be enjoyable? No. That's never been my question. Like, sure, yeah, it'll be fun. Sure, it'll be spicy. It'll have cool guns and cool mechanics and cool jumping. Who cares a month later? How are you going to get people to keep playing an arena shooter? I just don't know how you do it. Splitgate 2 looks fantastic. It's going to suffer the same fate as the first game. Everybody sung the praises of the first game, and the first game did the same thing. Everybody was all about it, and then a couple weeks later, nobody's playing it. There's no shade. That's just the nature of arena shooters. Like, arena shooters, there's no staying power. It lacks that staying power. It's like, dude, I'm not going to grind an arena shooter for months and months and months and months and months. The player pool will just dry up so fast. It has nothing to do with the game. It has nothing to do with the game's quality, how fun it is, how good the mechanics are. None of that. They're all going to suffer the same fate and the same problem. It's not a knock on the quality of the game. It looks amazing for an arena shooter. Yeah, Splitgate has a chance if they're able to get like the competitive scene around it, the streamers around it, and have some really crazy, tight, sharp, intense events. That could help it. But I don't think like the average player is going to pick up Splitgate 2 and give a rip about it 2 months later. I just don't see it. I like the PV. Listen, the crowd that you're trying to sell to is already playing a PvP game right now. They are. That's what they're doing. I'm not the target audience for Splitgate 2. The target audience for Splitgate 2 is right now playing Warzone. They're playing arcraiders. They're playing Rivals. They're playing Fortnite. They're playing Apex. They're playing PUBG. They are already engaged in some type of shooter, PvP, live service game. They're already doing it. Yeah, Halo Infinite. Like, they're already engaged. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get them to come and play your game and stay. And I don't think an arena shooter will ever have the power to do that in a large enough number. People just move on. It's a meat grinder. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. And you're going to be like, well, so are battle royales. The degree to which you repeat the same action in a battle royale is far enough apart and it's random enough that people end up getting hooked and they stay. The degree to which you repeat actions in an arena shooter are so dadgum close together, burnout happens quicker, disenchantment happens faster, and they're just going to go back to whatever else they were playing. I don't know if you're trying to get them to stay. It's providing options for when someone wants a break. A game can't live off that. I don't think a live service game can be a summer home. I don't think you can live off being a summer home. Because eventually they'll just stop coming back. Tired of COD for a bit? Try something else. Go back to COD later. If that were true, then X Defiant would probably be still around. I mean, what's going on with the finals? How's the finals doing? If finals all-time peak was 250,000 players, they now hit 15,000 player peaks. Like, you see what I'm saying? This is it right here. And you better hope and pray that this is good enough. You better hope this is good enough. You go from this 250,000 to 15,000. That's a dadgum elevator shaft of a drop. I mean, that is... And listen, that's no shade to finals. That's the same pattern for all of these games. Woo! New car smell! Honeymoon period. Floor. You better hope that floor ain't too low. You better hope that floor is not too low or you're cooked. Whether you're Fragpunk or Splitgate or Marathon or arcraiders, you better hope that floor isn't too low, or you're done. You're out. You don't have enough people. I think the monsters have skewed the perception as to what a game needs to continue running. I don't think you're engaging with what I'm saying. My perspective's not skewed. I've not once said you need to maintain 250,000 player concurrence. What I've said is every game follows the same pattern, and you better pray that your floor is not lower than minimum required engagement. There's a minimum required engagement number. You need players engaging per hour, per day, per week, per month in order for your game to function. The players are the gas. They're literally the gas, and if there's not enough gas going into the tank on a regular basis, you're going to sputter out, run on fumes, and die. They're all doing the same thing. Woo! Boom! Every time. And it's like, well, they don't need that many players. They don't need that many players. We don't know what every game's number is. I don't know what their number is. Splitgate could probably survive on a smaller number than Marathon because the number, the funding, the operating cost of Splitgate 2 is probably lower than Marathon. You know, arcraiders, same deal. That's the question you've got to ask is, you know, how low can we go before we're in trouble? Because they all follow the same pattern. They're a t-shirt of the week. Everybody loves them. And then a month goes by and like, a fraction of the player base is playing. To go for the finals to go from 250,000 concurrent on Steam to 15,000 player concurrent, that's got to be terrifying if you're a big budget title or a big operating cost game. That's got to be terrifying. You can go from 250,000 people playing your game at the same time to 15,000? That's a normal curve? That's a normal curve, but we're talking about that floor. There's always a floor, and you can go too low. This is the part of the argument that I feel like you never engage with, Eugene. You're just like, well, they can survive on a small amount of players. Well, but every game is a different number. If they slip below that number, they're dead. They're done. You will lose players at an expeditious level. They'll be like, I can't get into matches. It's laggy. I'm sick of this. All my friends stopped playing. And it just goes boom, 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 boom. It just compounds every time down. It's like the inverse of compound interest. It's just like, no one's playing. I think the viability floor is lower than you think it is. But it's dependent. Every game and every studio is different. Because I'm telling you, you hit a threshold and it's like a tipping point. It's like now nobody's going to be playing. Yeah, I heard what Lupo did, yeah. Splitgate 2 beta is offering infinite maps. They're all different and we don't know. We also don't know console and we don't know the company's expectation. I think the likelihood of survival is greater for the smaller studios because they can weather the lower revenue trickle. Like I think like the guys with Splitgate 2, they got a lot of funding though, so they've got to pay the piper. But you know, Splitgate 2 and the finals and even arcraiders coming from maybe smaller operating budgets, they can probably survive on like a much lower number. But like when I look at a game like Marathon, or even some of these other games that are like that like PlayStation was trying to bring to market, I think you need a pretty high number to justify the operating cost of the studio. Like Firewalk, in order for Firewalk to continue going, Concord would have had to have been an absolute smash hit in order to keep Firewalk running. That was an expensive studio to run. You had a lot of big names there, a lot of big salaries. Your collector's a minimum number of engagement to drive microtransactions to cover the cost of keeping the game running and updating. If they don't get enough revenue, it dies. If you don't get enough engagement, you die because players just stop playing. They're like, well, I can't get anybody to play with me. My friend stops playing. I can't matchmake. No one's talking. Now I'm playing laggy games. Like, it just starts to compound on itself. When you start to slip down that slide too quickly, I mean, I'm telling you, it's like the death drop at the fair. It's just like, whoom, you just drop, and it's over. There's a tipping point below which the matchmaking itself fails. That's exactly what I'm talking about. When you fall below that breaking point, you lose anybody who was trying to hold on. A $10 super chat with Street Shadow. Devs and pubs need the scope games realistically. Don't count on peak numbers to define a sustainable floor. 10,000 DAU might be enough for a game like Marathon or Splitgate if scoped right. Did you discuss the Dr. Lupo cheating drama? I haven't gotten the full scope. I've been told that he admitted to using a program or something. Like 14 hours ago, he tweeted something. Somebody told me that he on stream said that he was using some type of a program. That's what was relayed to me. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what somebody said in our chat. Because essentially he made an early game blunder, lost his queen, and then he proceeded to make perfect moves for the duration of the game. And it was like even a chess master would struggle to do that. And so at first it was like, oh, he was looking at other games and he somehow figured out what to do, which sounds stupid. It sounded to me like either somebody in his chat or a program was telling him what moves to make. That's what it sounded like to me. You don't go from a blunder of losing your queen to 18 perfect moves in a row and winning. Like that's even a high level chess master would struggle to recover from a mistake like that. So I don't know. You're saying he explained everything. Well, what did he explain? Hyde makes a very good point. We need to be clear about whether we are discussing a break-even point and the viability tipping point. Okay, so yeah, one is the game being profitable or cost neutral. The other one is the game properly functioning, like not being able to matchmake for less than 10 minutes. Right, that's true, Hyde. So like you could break even and like you've paid for the project, you're not in like the red. And then the next question is 2 or 3 months in, do you have enough DAUs, daily active users, for matchmaking to function so that the game works, so that the engine runs? He legit said he used a program, Mr. Holy. You ever seen somebody like on those cooking shows where they're like slice something? They're like tit. I'm like bite tongue, bite tongue, bite tongue, bite tongue, bite tongue, bite tongue, bite tongue. Like my mind went like so many things I'd like to say. Spice King says, when are we expecting an $80 Redfall 2? Shut the frick up. Shut up, dude. Good job. I know how hard it is for you to not talk. I just continue to find it to be very interesting how things have transpired the last 5 months. I don't know. 5 years ago, there were an awful lot of people that had an awful lot of things to say. And it's so funny. It's so funny how things have turned out. I don't think the funniness is going to stop either. I'll just continue to kind of sit back and watch it happen. Say it, I'll say it with you. No. What I find interesting, says Creature, is selective character. Funny how the turntables. People really liked the word accountability 5 years ago. Now all of a sudden, I don't know. I wonder what they think of that word now. Every accusation is a confession. Sometimes it feels that way. Street Shadow with another $10 super chat tip. Thank you so much, man. Big studios can afford to let games grow. If Sony backs Marathon, a slow start might be fine. Indies rarely get the grace. Granted, Bungie might be on a tight Sony leash. I think that Marathon's likelihood of getting delayed is very high. I think Marathon's likelihood of then being permanently shelved is also pretty high. Come on, Lono, say it. AstroTurfing, the internet will go wild. No. If there's one thing I've learned in the 5 years that I've had to kind of process a lot of this and kind of weather a lot of this, the guilty don't need to be called out. They tend to be discovered with time. So. Did you notice the PlayStation Studios logo before Marathon? I think SIE has taken more control. Is that a recent change, Street Shadow? 2 weeks until Doom. Oh, it looks so good. The less well-developed emotionally judge others by their actions, but they judge themselves by their intentions. It's a very useful and convenient double standard. I find it funny that people excusing Nintendo and stating that it's all inflation will now try to say how bad Xbox is for raising their prices. Raising game prices suck and shouldn't happen, but then there is Game Pass. I would bet that Game Pass might get another price increase. Yeah. I never once excused Nintendo, by the way. I simply said this is what we should come to expect. And when I saw Xbox's announcement, I said the same thing. I said, I tried to tell y'all that this was going to happen, that the price hikes were coming. Yeah, and I said, PlayStation's probably going to do the same thing. You know what I mean? You're saying that game prices shouldn't, the game price increases shouldn't happen. I don't think there's an imperative here. I don't think there's an imperative. I don't think you can claim they should or should not do something. That's... Are you gonna try and play Expedition 33 before you start Doom? I don't know. I really don't know what I'm gonna do, P. Dudley, because Doom is calling my name from afar. It is just calling my name from afar. Those parries and the combat just look so good. It just looks like me. Personal opinion, it shouldn't happen. That's fair. You can have the personal opinion that it shouldn't happen. That's fine. There's not much you can do other than, I guess, Expedition 33 is calling my... They're both calling my name. Yo, Alec Trevelyan with a $20 super chat tip on YouTube. Lono, so happy for all the recent positive developments that have happened for you with Twitch, etc. Quick question, do you think Borderlands 4 could be playable on current Steam Deck OLED, or will it need an eventual SD2? I actually have no way of commenting on that question, Alec. I don't know. Given how... I would look to Borderlands 3 for insight. I would look for Borderlands 3 for insight into that, because I don't know if it's going to be that much of a graphical demand and jump to Borderlands 4. I definitely think there's some better lighting, higher resolution, and some other things going on, but... Oh, and we're one super chat away from confetti. Thank you. Yeah, English. Oh, he didn't just give it the big viewership and retweet claims. He was a part of the 2-week conversation about how it needed to go down. He was one of the architects of the whole thing. It wasn't just like, I'm supporting and believe in my friends. It was private planning. He was a part of the private planning. Yeah, Xbox announced prices that are going to increase in the coming months. We don't know the exact date, Big AAA games are going to 80. All their hardware, all their accessories are gonna go up in price. Yes. The shield looks sick in Doom. It does. The parry mechanic just looks so fun. It's like Returnal and Doom had a baby, you know? I love it. Because there aren't parries in Returnal, but the bullet hell navigating the landscape. What about English O? I was responding to English O in the Discord and informing them about something that they had said. They were saying that a certain individual like gave all the crap in 2020, big viewership, and like retweeted claims, and I was like, well, they did a whole lot more than that. They were listed as one of the people that was planning it for 2 weeks. Eugene says, for how many years should game prices not go up? Under how many circumstances should they not go up? I don't recognize this phone number. Another super chat from Street Shadow. He makes it rain confetti. When you boot up Marathon, it says SIE presents in PlayStation Studios like Astrobot. Bungie used to be listed as independent when they first joined. That is an interesting observation, Street Shadow. Have they made any sort of a change? Let me bump the line to 179. I'm sorry, 279. We're one away from 280. When you guys hit the super chat goal, I have to gift members. I have to gift a member, I'm sorry. Let me do that now. As an opinion, I can say anything I want. It doesn't make it factual. Just an opinion. Yeah, but the problem is like, you know, an opinion that's just sort of rooted in emotion. Like, you're upset about it, you don't like it, you reject it, whatever emotion you want to attach to it. I'm not trying to project emotion onto you. It is an emotional response at a base level of like dissatisfaction leading to a rejection of like, they shouldn't do this. I think opinion should be informed by facts, not just emotional response. My base level emotion to prices going up is I don't like it. But I stop short and I don't let that formulate my entire opinion. That's like a lot of the YouTubers and rage baiters out here that call me a shill and say that, oh, I defend these guys and I'm a corporate bootlicker. It's like, no, I just don't formulate my opinions based purely on emotion because I'm an adult and not a child. Like, to be like, I don't like that. Well, that's all I need to know is that I don't like it. That formulates my entire opinion. Like, what? Oh, okay. I don't like a lot of things. That doesn't mean that's the only thing that contributes to the formulation of my opinion. Like, a great example is some of the stuff that they've been doing in AC Shadows. So in AC Shadows, you find out like, oh, this one character was actually a part of the group that was there when my dad died. And you're like, man, I really don't like that. I don't like you. I'm angry. And they're like, well, you know, maybe you should listen to what I have to say. And then they outline why they're in the circumstances that they're in, and you get facts and you get evidence, and it changes the way you view certain people. Like, I spared one of the people because I was like, well, it sounds like you're more of a victim than an actual villain, right? They compelled me, right? That commonly happens in TV shows. Like, one of the things they did in Lost all of the time was you're like, man, you know, Jin... The Korean guy, Jin's a real jerk, but then you get like the backstory and you find out everything he's had to do and you suddenly understand him and you're like, well, I would understand why he would be like this. Man, Charlie's a druggy loser. And then you find out what led to that and it makes you view them differently. Like, your emotional response is there, but then you start to get facts and it changes what you think. So when I see prices going up in games, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like, yay, I get to spend more money. No, I'm like, man, I don't like that. But then I consider all of the facts, and I'm like, this was kind of a long time coming. We've been eating good for a really, really long time. You know? So, like, my emotional response doesn't create an imperative. I don't like it, so they shouldn't do it. Oh, what? Like Abby in The Last of Us 2, she's a victim. Yeah, I think one of the things I've gotten extremely just fed up with is we champion a bunch of boyish, immature behavior, and we try to package it as being like pro-consumer or tough or masculine, and it's the opposite of all of those things. It's just a bunch of emotional responses, masquerading as pro-consumer criticism. It's like, no, you're just having an emotional response. You don't like it, and that's the only thing shaping your opinion about the situation. And content creators know that a bunch of people don't like it and a bunch of people are angry, so they'll make videos raging about it, throwing out generic platitudinous terms like corporate greed and pro-consumer, and it's just like they're not saying anything. All it is emotional affirmation and emotional manipulation. And none of it's factual, none of it's informed, none of it's thoughtful. That's all it is. Abby was on the side of evil from the beginning. Okay. What? Trying to save humanity is evil. Got it. NVIDIA's mainstream products this generation are now sitting on shelves and dropping below MSRP in some countries because the market wouldn't bear the price. All that matters is what the market bears. During the raise to $70, there was industry insiders that did a full dive and said because how there are so many ways of making money now, there's no reasons for prices to go up. Murdering immune people over and over. Yeah, but now you're getting into the philosophical debate and discussion of greater good. Does greater good justify an extreme action, right? So if, there's all those hypothetical thought experiments. If this person gets hit by this train, it will then save all these people over here instead, right? Like people always set up like these hypotheticals where you could save 1,000 people by letting this one person die, right? Those are moral quandaries that they put you in. Like they did this all the time in like Star Trek and stuff. They set up ethical and moral dilemmas that there are no concrete, solid answers to. There was no evidence it would ever work. I'm on your side when it comes to whether or not what Joel did was right, because they did not properly inform Ellie she was going to die. She was not properly informed that they didn't even know if it was going to work. They were quite literally gambling with her life and not even allowing her to consent to that. So Joel did the right thing. She wasn't told, listen, we have no idea if it's even going to work and the procedure will kill you. She could not appropriately consent to what they were going to do to her because she wasn't even informed. So what he did was 100% in the right. He saved her life, but then they create the moral gray area quandary where he doesn't just go in, hold everybody at gunpoint, wake her up, and let her make the decision. He makes the decision for her. Now, you might come back and say, well, in situations like that, she's a minor. She wouldn't even have a full scope of the situation. What he did was appropriate. He took over the guardian role for her and said, I'm her protector. I'm making the decision for her. Like, they set it up to where you could debate it for days and weeks. You could just continue to debate it. That's what makes it such a good story. The forest for the trees that everybody misses with The Last of Us is the fact that to this day, people will passionately debate whether Joel was right, Abby was right, this person was right, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The reason that you debate it is because they crafted such a good story. They try to claim that it's a juvenile story, it's like simple storytelling. Then why the frick are people still talking about it all these years later? It's been 5 years since The Last of Us Part 2 debuted as a game. And we still to this day have people debating the rightness or the wrongness of the choices. That's a well-crafted story in my book. Where all the way to now, people are still talking about who was right and who was wrong. That's the feather in Naughty Dog's cap. That's the feather in their cap. They create a story that still to this day is hotly and passionately debated. I wish that I could write something that compelling. I wish that I could write characters that were so beloved and so enjoyed that people were that invested that they're still debating about it. That's the irony of the people that want to claim the game was a failed commercially. It didn't. The show is probably doing incredibly well also. I'm here to tell you, these guys don't even see it. It's like every time they make a video and they seethe and mauled about Abby, every single time they do it, they prove that Naughty Dog told an amazing story. Because if the story was boring, contrived, stupid, or cheap, or dumb, or whatever other words they want to hurl at it, then they wouldn't be frickin' talking about it 5 years later. They wouldn't care. I'm not sitting here debating like Yazubi says. We're not talking about Skeletor. We're not debating the finer points of stories of games that we played 5 years ago. Is anybody getting into big, hot, heated debates about, the end of Ghost of Tsushima? I love Tsushima's story, but nobody's debating about it. Omar with a $5 super chat. When it's twice in half a gen, it's a tough pill to swallow. Are these game companies still shedding workers amid record profits and price increases? At what point can we call it for what it is? What do you mean? Every major tech company out there has been raising prices and laying people off and posting great profits. What are you going to do? Label it whatever you want, Omar. It doesn't matter. Label it scummy, slimy. Label it greed. It won't change anything. It's like labeling a shark mean. Man, that shark bit my friend's leg off. He's real meanie. He's real duty head. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't change anything. The shark is still the shark at the end of the day. And your friend's leg is gone. Doesn't matter what label you come up with. You can call these companies anything you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who cares? The shark will be gone too. But that's what I mean. You can label these corporate entities, these corporate moves, these corporate motivations. Label them whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's corporate greed. It's scummy. It's mean. It's bad. It's awful. Okay. I don't find the conversation to be compelling or interesting because it's just so impotent, just to name call basically. That's essentially what it is. It's corporate greed. Okay. Do we have anything of substance to say? Do we have anything worth discussing? Or are we just going to come up with the dirty word and hurl it at something that we don't like? I don't find it to be interesting at all. It's great. What do we do now? It's corporate greed and it's scummy. Great. Now what? Now what? Now what do we do? In mass, if people don't buy, that'll have the effect that you're seeing on the graphics card situation that Zubair just talked about with Nvidia. Strong disagree. Why? I have sat in this chair for 10 years. I've engaged all kind of debates, all kind of discussions. I've discussed culture, philosophy, religion, maybe a little bit of politics. here and there. We've talked about games, microtransactions, release dates, patches, day one patches, Eververse. We've talked about everything up one side and down the other. Labeling something as scummy or greedy or anti-consumer, my brain just goes, that's not interesting. That's about as boring as a checkers match in slow motion. I just don't care. It doesn't achieve anything. It's why I never would make content and respond to these buffoons who call me names. They're not interesting to me. They're not. They're children, throwing dirt. It's like, I don't care about that. It's not, there's nothing interesting. It's why I've never enjoyed history. It's just dates. There's nothing I can play with. There's nothing I can tease out and thought experiment. There's nothing, it's not like philosophy or theology or there's nothing to it. It's just, corporate greed, scummy. Oh, great. You've established that you don't like it and you think that they shouldn't do it. Where do we go from here? What else is there to say? I hate taxes. I do. I hate them. I hate every year having to go through that roller coaster feeling of, that was a lot of money. But what am I going to do about it? Bellyache and call the government, greedy and scummy and no, I pay them and I move on with my day. History, bad take. How is it a bad take? It's my interest level. For interest of study, if I'm going to read a book or take a class, history is the least interesting thing to me. I can't do anything with it. It's just dates and names, and that's it. This happened on this date. This happened on this date. Cool. I don't care. It's not interesting to me. We're not discussing market realities and expectations here. Yeah, you should expect things to get more expensive. That's the extent of the conversation from where I sit. Yeah, you should expect things to get more expensive. You're taking the wrong thing from history. You can't tell me what I should or shouldn't take from history. There is no imperative on the study of history. As a topic, I don't find it interesting. I don't find math interesting either, and yet math is fundamental to our existence and the games that I play. You have to admit, people saying Microsoft is pro-consumer has caused the anti-consumer response. This man also took nothing from math. Jinx. Yeah, I'm sorry. My brain just bounces off certain subjects. I'm like, math, boring. History, boring. I just bounce off of it. And you know what's beautiful about the human existence? There are people that eat, drink, and sleep those things. They love those things. And they don't like philosophy. They don't like religion. They don't like the things that are interesting to me. That's what's beautiful about the human existence. What, are you equally interested in every subject? No, you're not. You bounce off subjects too. I have always found those things to be static and uninteresting. Math doesn't change. History doesn't change. It's static. It's boring. It just sits there. It's names and dates. It's numbers and letters. It just ricochets right off my brain. I don't care about it. I'm like, it doesn't interest me. And in this situation, I feel very similar. I'm like, yeah, stuff gets more expensive. Yep. I've never spent a moment of my life expressing interest, emotion, or topical discussion interest in getting upset about price increases. It's what? There's nothing to say. Doesn't the Holy Bible interest you? History? If you're going to get pedantic and limit it to that, okay. What about the history of philosophy? History of philosophy is interesting from the perspective of watching sort of the emergence of new ideas and how one idea shaped another and how ideas shape what we think of as, today, right? Some of the first thoughts about people are we're in a simulation, everything's an illusion. That's not a new idea. The Pythagoreans thought that. They thought movement was an illusion because you can divide everything infinitely. Every number can be divided, and then that can be divided. So they thought movement was an illusion. You weren't truly ever moving because every step you take could be divided infinitely back to nothing. That to me, yeah, that's interesting. Watching how ideas and thoughts took shape over the years. But I'm not again, that again is history of philosophy. History of agriculture. I would be like, I don't care about that. History of world leaders. I don't care about that. It doesn't. AC is history? Not really. It's like historical tourism. It's not really history. It's never been history. It's been historical tourism. It's like, oh, this is what that building would look like if I climbed it. Like, that's pretty much it. PS is pro-consumer, 450. Nothing is pro-consumer. Nothing is pro-consumer. That's another illusion. Everything is pro-profit. If Amazon's really friendly to me and lets me return things with ease, that's not pro-consumer. It's pro-profit. They want my loyalty. They want me to come back to them. They want me to continue to buy things from them. They're not doing it because they like me. They're not doing it because they're in my corner cheering for me. It's a mathematical equation that they've crunched, and they know when they treat a consumer that way with ease of returns, that consumer is way more likely to spend money with them. It's a dadgum mathematical equation to predict human behavior is all it is. It's not pro-consumer. Game Pass isn't pro-consumer. Game sales isn't pro-consumer. Discounts aren't pro-consumer. Coupons aren't pro-consumer. The yellow sticker at Kroger isn't pro-consumer. It's all pro-profit. It's designed to manipulate your brain into thinking, I'm making a good choice. You're a rat in a maze chasing cheese, and you think that the cheese is pro-consumer. It's like, no. This is all part of the plan. The minute you think something's pro-consumer, they won, you lost, you're a sucker. There's no such thing as pro-consumer. Everything they do is to increase revenue and profit. If they're nice to you, that's a side effect. Yeah, it's Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. They are not pro-consumer. They want your money, and they're going to do everything they can to get your money. Whether it's a marketing campaign, a trailer, a commercial, a buy one, get one free. That's a sad way to look at life. Not everything is evil and trying to F you. Where did I say anything about evil and trying to screw you? You're putting words in my mouth and shadowboxing. I didn't say anything to... Your summary of what I've said is horrendously inaccurate. I didn't say anything about that. Companies are not they're not in the business of doing anything for you. They're in the business of doing things for themselves. They take tons of money, they invest it into building a thing, and then they want you to buy the thing. Companies trying to take your money isn't evil. Yeah, they're not trying to coerce you or steal your money. That would be evil. Stealing your money or tricking you or robbing you, that would be evil. Creating something with a value proposition to coax you or to convince you that it's worth buying, there's nothing evil about that. Unless, of course, again, they're lying to you, misleading you, scamming you, or just literally just stealing your money. Like, that would be evil. A company making a product and saying, we think our product is worth a lot of money and here's the price, like a Rolex watch or Legos. Legos are incredibly expensive now. Like, go and try and buy anything that's Marvel, Star Wars, or video game related from the Lego store. It's dadgum expensive. Lego invests in it. They get into a license agreement with Disney to sell the Star Wars sets. The Star Wars sets are ridiculously expensive. And they're like, here it is. Do you want it? And you're like, yes, I do. And they're like, this is the price. And you're like, well, I'm going to have to save weight or not buy it. There's nothing evil about that. They want your dadgum money. They do market research into who they should partner with, what sets they should come out with, how the logo should look, how the set should look, what the color of the box should be, and then they put a price on it, and they know there's a bunch of people that are going to want to buy the Hogwarts Castle or Rivendell. They know it. They research it, they build it, they sell it. And that's all they want from you is your money. You're just a number on a stat sheet that they want you to buy their stuff so that they can keep making more stuff. And then they keep making more money. Like, it's an engine that needs gas to run, and they're trying to find ways to get as much gas as they can into the vehicle. That's what it is. Like, it's these conversations are always so drenched in, like, emotional platitudinous statements about, like, but they're greedy and they're anti-consumer. That's just an emotional diatribe. You're not saying anything. It's evil and anti-consumer if they lie or deceive. NVIDIA is anti-consumer when they say frame gen means that the 5070 is a 4090 performance. That's the lie. That's the anti-consumer. The prices just suck. Yeah, if I sell you a lawnmower and I say this will mow your lawn for you, it's got a drone inside of it, and I sell it to you and then I leave, and it's just a normal lawnmower, well, I just scammed you, lied to you, and that would be wrong. That would be an immoral and unethical thing to do. So if you can point to that, like, you know, is Mario Kart actually going to be a game where everybody just rides bicycles and it's really boring? Well, then that would be a scam. Like, the product they showed us isn't the product that we got. You know, nobody wants Paperboy 10. They want Mario Kart World. So if you spent $80 and you opened up the case and it was Paperboy 10, you'd be like, what the frick just happened? Like, right, that'd be class action probably, because so many people would have procured, tons, I mean, millions of dollars from people under false pretense. And the frustration here is when you talk like I'm talking, and this is the position that you take, I will be clipped, mocked, called all sorts of horrible names, and they'll say that I'm a corporate shill and a bootlicker because I'm an adult and I don't just make all of my opinions shaped around my emotional feeling about something. And I don't make content trying to stroke the ego of angry consumers. I'm just not interested in it. It's just a bunch of BS. It's just a bunch of bluster nothing. It's just fireworks, mate. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It's like trying to heat your home with bottle rockets. It's noisy, it's loud, and it doesn't do anything. That's all that content and those conversations typically are. They're just bottle rockets of emotion. Oh, look at that. And then it's over and nothing was accomplished. Nothing. You watch that content, you consume that content, all it does is make you feel, justified in your anger, and you feel a little bit more angry, and then you make fun of Reforge, or make fun of somebody that actually is just like, this is just kind of the way of things, and, making fun of me and calling me names. Like, if that makes you feel better, I mean, that's just the pit of juvenility. There's nothing productive about that at all. You're not saying anything of substance. You're acting like a child. OG DSB with 32 months, member plus. Borderlands 4 is looking good. You check out the website for more details. What are the details there? Hey, look at that. 280. That 20 bomb would set us up really nice for tomorrow. We're behind pace, but that's attempting. Let's see if anybody does it. And a 5 spot from SDO. Xbox issues is that they generally haven't done well this gen without ABK and Bethesda, but prices still go up. It's not a good look for them. I think it's a fair take. They spent a ton of money just so they could claim they have first-party release cadence, games that were already in the pipeline, games that were already coming to market. Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, and Starfield were already being made and already coming to market. They bought those so they could say, oh, that's ours. Same with Call of Duty. It's like their cadence of games, Indiana Jones, same deal. Their cadence of games is virtually non-existent without the mergers. Just like, remember when they delayed Redfall and Starfield and raised the price to $70? Did you guys all forget that that's the company that we're talking about? They delayed Redfall and Starfield and raised the price. You remember that? Like, that's the company that we're talking about. That's why it's always been so amusing to me, like belly laugh, chuckle, hilarious, that people think that, like, Microsoft and Xbox are pro-consumer. Like, what a joke. What a joke. What a terrible punchline. Imagine another company doing that. Yeah, we delayed our games to next year. Oh, and they're going to be more expensive now. Wait, what? What happened? Did anything change? Oh, yeah, I tell you what changed. What changed is every time we trotted out a roadmap, we've never made good on that promise because the roadmap's not designed around actually making good on a value proposition. It's a bunch of mirage fakeness to keep you on Game Pass. You want to talk about anti-consumer? I would say that's anti-consumer. Constantly doing a value proposition to the consumer to keep them on a subservice and then never making good on the promise, the timing, or the quality. That to me is anti-consumer. Shipping something below industry standard, shipping something late after consistently promising that it would show up in a year so that you just stay on Game Pass. Like, you want to have a conversation about anti-consumer? That's anti-consumer because you're constantly selling them a bill of goods. $80 Mario Kart, you want to wet the bed over that? Why aren't you mad about the fact that, like, Xbox has not once this gen made good on their roadmap promises, timing promises, or even their quality promises? They kept you on Game Pass so you could get games late at 30 FPS, and you want to wax about pro-consumer? And now that same company's raising prices? I feel like they're categorically different. They're categorically different. Attempting to manipulate the customer into thinking that there's some big, huge, healthy roadmap so they stay on Game Pass and the roadmap is subject to change every single time. That, to me, is in a different category than just like, well, everybody's raising their prices, inflation, so we are too. Sorry, I was driving. We've discussed price points, value proposition, consumer power, etc. in here for years. So I don't know where this is suddenly not an interesting discussion. No. I don't think expressing anger or using like a negative label over price increases, it's not interesting to me, Omar. It doesn't mean anything. Like when Tears of the Kingdom was $70 instead of $60, there's nothing to say. I don't have an opinion. It's like, yeah, the price went up. My opinion is I don't like it, but my opinion is also I like Zelda. Like, there's just nothing to say. I'm not trying to call a company mean. I was asking at what point do we actually push back with our wallet? You push back with your wallet when you feel it's the appropriate time. There's not a starter pistol here, Omar. I don't have a starter pistol under the desk where I'm like, yep, now's the time. Now's the time, boys. Boycott. Like that. No, every consumer has to make up their own mind. There are consumers right now that are going to skip out on Mario Kart on principle alone. And then there are the rest of us that are like, it's Mario Kart, bro. And we just slide the credit card. Like, there's no starter pistol here. You're either going to decide that the value proposition's strong enough to weather the increase in price, right? Like, people on PlayStation who buy Call of Duty every year, they're going to have to make a decision in probably like November. I'm assuming that's when it's releasing. Maybe not because of GTA 6. Let's just say it's November. The guys who buy Call of Duty are going to have to make a decision this year. Is your desire to buy Call of Duty every year strong enough to weather the extra $10? And we'll see. We'll see what the market decides. It's a big moving amoeba that's going to shift and ebb and flow in response to, who knows, tariffs could eviscerate us the next 6 months and spending in gaming goes down. And that contributes to people saying no. It could all blow over. It could all calm down. Things could stabilize and get better, hopefully. And then people could say, 10 extra bucks isn't that bad. Like, people call me crazy for refusing to buy Xbox or Apple products for well over a decade. I just see lemmings walking off a cliff. What do you mean you see lemmings walking off a cliff? What are you talking about? People that are okay with spending more money on their hobby, they're not just going to up and quit their hobby because prices go up. You think those people are lemmings? The people that are different than you are stupid? Like, that's the depth of your opinion? Don't just be sheeple. Have your own opinion and respond accordingly. That's what I'm saying. Like, do we keep getting served crap? What do you mean we're getting served crap? What are you talking about? Like right now, let's imagine that Doom the Dark Ages suddenly jumps in price. Oh, you were agreeing with me, Toasty. Let's imagine that Doom the Dark Ages suddenly jumps in price. Does that suddenly mean does that suddenly like make the game crappy? It's going to run like crap, not be ready? What are you talking about? Why do penny pinchers get under your skin so much? Penny pinchers don't get under my skin. People that wear spending little amount of money as a superior position and making fun of people who like to spend money or who willingly spend money, those are the people that I don't like because they're freaking weird. You don't see me out here boasting and like showing my PayPal receipts. Look how much I spend on gaming every month. That'd be the weirdest, most cringy flex ever. They do the same thing in the reverse. Look how little I spend. Look at you suckers over there buying games. You're freaking weird, bro. You want to be a Karen coupon cutter, go ahead and do it. Wearing it like a badge of honor is weird. I don't care if you penny pinch. I don't care if you buy one game a year. I don't care if you've been living on Game Pass for $1 a year for the last decade. That doesn't matter to me. Weaponizing your choice as if it's better and these other people are stupid and you want to call them names, I'm sorry. That is the epitome of childishness. We were talking about people already pushing back with their wallet. I was saying that I already do. Many people enjoy eating crap, so we keep getting crap. I just think that's too broad, Omar. You're ignoring all of the great games we've gotten this year. Let's just do an experiment. $70 price increase. Did it hurt the game quality this year? Split Fiction wasn't 70. Expedition 33 wasn't 70. Great games. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Monhun Wilds. Oblivion Remastered. Doom's around the corner. They're like, what are we talking about? A barrage, a deluge of high-quality games all across a pricing structure. Where's all this angst coming from about getting a bunch of crap? What do you mean? But the market practices that are mostly exploitative continue and are more pervasive because people eat crap? Who cares? You're not playing those games, Omar. Are you playing Madden? Are you playing gacha games? What are you worried about? What games are you playing? If you're like me, you're not even playing those games. I don't give a frick if some gacha game, if some Chinese MMO, if some, weird sports title is just squeezing the dog crap out of their player base. I don't give a frick about that. I don't play those games. I don't care. And that's why I would never play those games. It's why I don't play gacha games. What about AC Shadows? What do you mean? I bought the game at full price and I've gotten more than my money's worth out of it. 40 hours? I could play that game for over 100 if I really wanted to. What do you mean? What's the problem with AC Shadows? I didn't get like a diminished... It's in my opinion, the best looking game this gen. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It looks so good. I don't understand. I didn't get squeezed for money. They're not out here trying to sell me something. I'm not getting... There's no predatory practices that I've seen. Are those practices not there also? What are you talking about? Where? What do you mean? What are they doing in AC Shadows that's so terrible? Really? You've had opportunity to type what they're doing, Omar. What are you, like, incensed that I don't know about it? I don't know what you're talking about. Type it out. You're good at typing. Type it out. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're referring to. Zubair's put in more time than me. He could weigh in. I do not know what you're talking about with AC Shadows. Better looking than Burning Shores? It's basically a tie, but in my opinion, it outpaces it. The global illumination and the weather alone, like the way that the weather really takes it up a notch, in my opinion. Once that snow starts falling, once that snow starts accumulating, the lighting, the texture depth, the biomes, the foliage, ooh, it's just so good looking. Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores is fabulous. I mean it. Shadows outpaces it. Zubair's agreeing with me. Yo, Ginger with 44 months says, Boom City. Welcome back, Ginger. The friendly contest between Twitch and YouTube. Somebody could literally close the cap with a 20 bomb. Come on, Twitch. I love AC, but let's not act like they didn't sell Helix credits. Build progression around XP gains that are sold separately, maps etc. Omar, I didn't feel a hint of that. I have been over-leveled virtually every mission I've gone on. I've never once... I've got so much money. I've got so much... I don't know what you're talking about. Ubisoft sells crap in their store that people don't like, but they don't try to force you into it. But in 3 AC games and counting, I've never even opened their store. I've not once felt squeezed to go buy that stuff. I've not once felt squeezed in Shadows. I have so much money. I have so much currency. Every time I've wanted to upgrade a building in my hideout, I can do it. Every time I've wanted to craft my weapons and level them up, I can max it out every time. I've never ever once been like, oh man, I'm just not leveling or getting currency fast enough. I'm swimming in currency. And I've always been 2 or 3 levels over everything I've set out to do. Has anyone dropped a 100 bomb before? On Twitch? I don't even know. Can you do a 100 bomb? No one's done a 100 bomb. If they did, it was in the past. I've had no desire or incentive to use the cash shop. I don't know the exact balancing of shadows, admittedly, but that's typical Ubi. Your pushback sounds similar to what many gacha gamers would also say about a Hoyo game. I feel like that's a false equivalency. Because gacha games are quite literally built around the pull, and AC Shadows is not built around the store. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee. Thank you so much, Fuzzy, for getting 3 bags of Frickmas. You the man. There's not a single piece of AC Shadows that feels like it's orbiting around, built around, or centralized on their cash shop. It's like, I don't sense that at all. In a gacha game, like, there's so many aspects that are quite literally like you've got to engage with the pulling mechanic and the and trying to get a new character in the pity mechanics. Like, now I don't play them, so I'm not well versed, but like that's core to those games. You can 100% play Genshin without interacting with the gacha system. Right, but that's not an equivalency to AC Shadows having a cash shop. That's not the same. I'm given enough resources to play the game without spending. The game is completely beatable for free. I have no reason to spend, but the practice is there. You talked about predatory practices, and now you're going to practices that are ignorable. I believe you've just kind of worked against your own argument, Omar. I ordered some also. Did you get the notification? When did you do that, Def Driver? I printed a bunch of orders last night. It auto-populated the tracking creature. Did you ask them to do that? I went to do the thing, and the tracking orders, the tracking numbers were on all their orders after I printed labels. Is that a feature of the bump that we paid for? I didn't have to do it. It was there. 2 hours ago? I did not get a coffee order from you 2 hours ago. I could check right now on the back end. I didn't get the email. I would have shouted you out. I'm saying you are defending it on one hand when you pushed against it on the other. It's hard type with 150 characters. Yeah, I've only got the one order from Fuzzy. I pushed against it on Genshin, Omar, because the microtransactions are set up in a way that creates sunk cost immediately with their pity system. That's not the same as having like optional XP boosts and currency in AC Shadows. These are not equivalent to each other. They're not. Even though it's optional in Genshin, if you start to spend, it is set up in an incredibly predatory way. The more you spend, the more you are given the pity guarantee of like eventually you'll get the thing that you want. That's not the same as AC Shadows being like, we have optional XP stuff for a single player game where if you want it, you can basically skip grind. That's not the same at all. To argue that a gacha pull system with pity is equivalent to optional XP boosts in AC Shadows, those are not equivalent. You get that without spending also in Genshin? You're not engaging with what I'm saying. I'm talking about once you actually decide to engage with the transaction, one is largely very harmless. It's an XP boost. It's currency to speed things up for you in the game. If once you engage with the transaction in Genshin, you're engaging with a predatory system. It's designed to make you spend and spend again and spend again and spend again. The value transmission in AC Shadows is clear. You get this boost, it lasts for this long, you get this currency. Genshin is designed to make you basically gamble, and then the likelihood of the gamble paying out goes up the more you spend. These are not the same at all. They're not even cousins. They're not even cousins. My criticism of the systems in Genshin are with the way that the transaction doesn't give you value transmission, and it withholds the value transmission under the guise of pity so that you keep spending. The value prop in AC Shadows is clear. It's a currency, it's a boost, it's a whatever. And when you buy it, guess what? I get it. They're not like, well, you might get it. You might get the boost. You might get the currency. But don't worry. If you keep spending, your chances increase. Come on. These are not the same. Pending payment. Yeah, we have a coffee order with the pending payment. You might want to go back and resubmit. Your payment didn't go through, Def. Don't they also sell legendary weapons in the shop? I don't care about that. That's a very clear value transmission. If somebody wants to buy that, when they buy it, they get it. If AC Shadows was like, here, pull to open this box and you might get a legendary, and the chances of getting the legendary you want increases over time because we have a pity system. Homie, I'd pull out the guns and I'd go guns a-blazing against that. I would say that is frickin' predatory. I would call that what it is. You're manipulating the consumer to continue to spend more money by withholding the thing that they want and increasing the chances of getting the thing that they want the more that they spend money. If they did that in AC Shadows, I would lobby the same criticism. My understanding is they sell cosmetics, they sell XP boosts, they sell currency, all optional, and when I give them my money, I get the thing that they told me I was going to get. I get it. I don't even let my kids buy those RNG toys where you might get, hey, there's a coffee order. Dude with the drum set ordered some coffee. Thank you, dude with the drum set. Guys like coffee. If you guys like coffee, seriously consider buying some Reforge roast. Dark roast, light roast, medium roast. It supports my family. My wife and kiddos give you little thank you notes. It's not a sponsor. That comes from us directly. Oh, okay, so Jake Lucky just tweeted he's issued a formal apology. This is going to have an F word in it. Hang on. I want to listen to this.
What ended up happening, I betrayed the trust of the chess community. I betrayed the trust of my chat. And I lied directly to Wolf. And so if for some reason you see this, I'm sorry. I got caught in a fight or flight moment and panicked and doubled down. The reason I'm saying this stuff is not because I'm like, I don't want sympathy. I don't need that. Actually, if anything, I told mods to not censor anything in chats today because it's the only. I mean, I deserve it. I do. I absolutely deserve it. I fucked up. I fucked up and hurt people that were probably pretty excited to have a big creator in their space. At least used to be big. I've loved chess for a really long time. Played when I was in middle school and high school. And I am appalled and embarrassed.
Thanks for the coffee order, Zuby.
It's funny too because I'm the Tarkov guy that's always very anti-cheater, right? And then of course it's the person that's so loud and vocal about it that turns around and ends up doing it, and it sucks. I don't have like I want to make sure it's clear too. I don't have like a script or anything. This is mostly just me talking off the top of my head because I wanted to make sure that you understood. I'm not trying to I didn't chat GPT or pre-write something. I thought a lot about it, about what to say, but I didn't want to write anything because I want to make sure that you understood that I was being genuine. I recognize too that by betraying your trust, because I lied to you guys too. The people that watch me, obviously there's going to be people that are going to be flowing in and saying all sorts of stuff all day. I deserve it. It's fine. Let it go. You don't. Nobody that watches me has to defend. I'm a 38-year-old man, and of all the places to do what I did it in a tournament for a game that I very much enjoy, and it was dumb as fuck, man. So yeah, I'm sorry for that. What?
I hope that maybe Lupo, I hope that Ben can see what it's like in a moment of panic to say or do something in a reaction. And why you would not want to be destroyed for that, and why you'd want to be given, the opportunity to admit where you did step wrong, and then accept the consequences. I don't know. I'm just trying to be really gracious and hope that maybe guys like him could get some insight into everything that happened with me 5 years ago. How in that moment of panic and fear, you lied, you were dishonest, you were scared. I know what it's like to be scared and have everything crashing on around you, and you react in a way that makes things worse. So I don't know. I'm being gracious to him because I've always hoped that people could in turn be gracious to me. But if that doesn't happen, that doesn't change my position on the matter. You made a mistake, you owned it, learn from it and move forward. Maybe it can open up pathways of empathy and understanding as to everything that went down with me a couple years ago. He mentioned that he's been to therapy in the past to work on some stuff. He should probably go back. I would fully support him and encourage him to do that. He's got a wife and a kid. You got to take care of your brain. You got to take care of your brain, man. This industry will absolutely eviscerate you. It will absolutely rip you up one side and down the other. this industry will turn you into a monster. If you let it, this industry will warp you and distort you and hurt you. And then hurt people. You got to take care of yourself, man. This industry is absolutely not a good place to be if you're not mentally well. So, did Lupo go after you in the past? I mean, when everything went down, he signal boosted. He was also listed as one of the people who helped plan it all. And even after large amounts of it were seen to be false and proven false, there was never any, hey, maybe we overreacted. You know, hey, maybe this should have been handled differently. Maybe this should have been handled privately, since all of it had already been handled privately. You know, I'm extending a very gracious posture to him. I know what it is to get caught in the firefight and to screw up, like, you know, the apologies, right? I acted out of fear and just immediately tried to fix it. He acted out of fear. He immediately tried to fix it by lying. And I'm trying to extend grace to be like, hey, man, I know what that's like. Maybe that can give you a little bit of an inroad of empathy and understanding, and understand that I did not get a fair shake, you know? And when you got millions of followers, you really got to consider the weight of what they did. So, difference is you didn't lie. Sure, but like emotionally, maybe he can understand, like, oh, wow, yeah, it's easy to misfire under the weight of panic and duress, you know? It can be very easy to do that. It's terrifying. It's terrifying to have that many people angry at you, or to have that kind of a thing hanging in the air. Summit came out and said, wait a minute, and they ripped his head off. Yeah, Summit was one of the few people that tried to say, hey, what happened to innocent until proven guilty, and he got attacked. I'm late to the convo, but there's no comparing 2K and UB. I appreciate the grace, but there's a big difference between some off-color jokes and trying to steal $100,000. I have the opinion that, like, comparing wrongs doesn't achieve much. I don't think it achieves much. So, yo, it's good, ARXR. I think that the only one playing in that tournament was watching the stream is silly. He's just one who got caught. I mean, I would hope and assume for tournaments like that with chess, that they have things in place to protect and catch people. You think you fixed it? All right, hang on, let me check. Yeah, we had a coffee order from Fuzzy, Dude with the Drum Set, and Zuby. I'm still not seeing one from you. Maybe I'll give it a second. My posture this entire time and getting to come back to Twitch was that I'm not trying to go back and rehash and be vengeful and hold grudges, but I'm also very open to conversations and bearing the hatchet and being, you know, forgiving people, giving people an opportunity to admit that they said things that weren't true. Like, I'm always willing to let people do that, like letting people be free of, like, I just think at this point it should be clear. It just should be clear that people said things that weren't true, and that they should own up to that, instead of just acting like it didn't happen. Everything got deleted, and then you just act like, oh, that didn't happen. So I'm willing. I'm open. You know, my emails on my profiles. These people can reach out. I'm willing to have conversations. I'm willing to have conversations off the record, at least at first, if they feel like that's what they need to do. But I'm not going after anybody. I'm not like, yeah, that's what you got, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know what I mean? You shouldn't throw stones from a glass house is all I'm saying. Again, I emailed you last week, no reply. Yeah. The old version of me would have a very vengeful feeling about the last couple of weeks. To get my channel back, to watch what happened to Barrett, to watch Barrett's baby project, to be able to basically dunk on his project, to have Borderlands seemingly back, to have a lot of people that were cheering for Marathon and brigading against me all of a sudden having to be like, yeah, this thing's not that great, it should be delayed. The vengeful side of me, right, and then this today, there's that vengeful streak in me that would want to sneer and celebrate and like stick my finger in a person's face, and I can't do it. I can't. My own beliefs, my own life, my own journey, what I've been through and what I've experienced, I'm affording grace to them because it was afforded to me. And if they say no and they spurn that and they still want to run with this idea that I'm this terrible monster, I mean, I can't change people's minds. I can't change their hearts. I can only say, this is how I'm approaching this situation. So, and I hope that would maybe be in and of itself evidence of, change, and that I'm not at all who people claimed I was. Cosmetics versus pay-to-win slot machine. Mechanics is pretty distinct and substantial. World is correcting itself. Grace is required for the path forward. You're doing it correctly. I appreciate that, Hilly. Cheers. Now let's go raid a channel and make fun of them. No. Yeah, I forget what she said, Zubair, about like throwing stones in a glass house or something. Yeah, I told her, I was like, I now know what Zubair feels like. Oh, I was like, I know what Zubair feels like. Legend says the change from you now to 5 years ago is inspiring. I'm optimistic and naive enough to think that people will one day be like, we were wrong about that guy. I know it probably won't happen. I know that to some people, I will forever be a monster and fill in the blank with a bunch of terrible names. Like, I know that's probably how it'll always be. But I'm like, hey, come by and hop on the show and just talk with me. You'll probably be like, man, we kind of effed up. And I'm not holding a grudge. I'm not like trying to hang that over anybody's head. I'm just being like, there's no harm in being like, we went too far. And there was a lot of things said that weren't true. There's no harm in that. There's no brand damage. You're not in any legal trouble. Nobody's going to come after you. Just being like, that was crazy. It's like in Bottle Rocket. He's like, how do we even end up in the backyard? What are we even doing out here? It's like, you can kind of laugh about it now. Yo, Predator ordered a bag, 3 bags of Frickmas. Thank you. Coffee orders are poured in. Thank you, Predator. Inspiring is a way to put it. I prefer boring. We're down to maybe one person getting cussed out a month these days. You don't have to. Everybody sees it playing out. Did he go after you? 5 years ago, yes. Not now, no. Not now, no. There was a tide turn at 1.187 where it became very crystal clear that an insane amount of lies had been told, and everybody was just like, oh, well, it's just in the past now. Everybody wanted to move past it. And when that happened, I did reach out to him, and I was like, I'd really appreciate you doing the right thing here, man. Like, you backed a bunch of stuff that's being seen to be literally false. And he got really angry and blocked me. I guess it was like his birthday or something. So I didn't know it was his birthday. I just DM'd him. Legend says quickly, somebody in chat take one for the team and question Lono's integrity. We need to have a fiery debate. The whole thing's just really unfortunate. The whole thing's just really unfortunate at this point. A lot of people got hurt that didn't need to get hurt. A lot of people really, got used and are now, not in great places. And I didn't have the ability to fix it. I did everything I could to try. I made it worse, admittedly. I've owned that. I have owned that I made it worse. I got really combative. I got really egotistical. And I definitely made it worse. And since then, I've tried to, grow and improve and approach it in a way that is, sort of open-armed, open hand. Like, hey, I think the best way to heal is to admit wrong, move forward. That's the best way to heal. It's how I've healed in my own life. And if people continue to refuse to do that, that's their choice. I can't make anybody do anything. I can't convince them. It's got to come from within. They've got to decide for their own peace, for their own mental well-being, for their own soul. They've got to make that decision. So yeah, Def, I'm not sure what's going on with your coffee order. It still hasn't come through, so we are going to need to shift gears here in a second to Green Room. Guys, if you're on YouTube and you have not smashed the like button, be sure to do that. Try to get us to 400 likes. I'm going to run ads on both platforms and be right back. I need a quick break. Okay. We're going to have to switch gears to green room like right now. I just realized I'm going to be a little tight on time today. I got a haircut and I got a call. So we got to... Hey, another order of coffee came in from Def. There it is, Def. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coffee orders in a day. That's what it used to be like. We used to sell like 3 to 5 coffee orders a day. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. We've continued to, invest in, support, and keep that coffee going. And I'm glad to see it continue to get support. The only people that matter are your audience. Now that you built an audience who actually have your back now and genuinely know the truth, holding on to the past will only hurt you. Oh, I'm not holding on to the past at all. If that's what you took from what I said, I don't feel like you were listening that well. I made it very clear that I've let go of all of that, but I would never like withhold grace or the opportunity to do, some form of reconciliation or restoration to people. I would never withhold that from people. You see me? What are you saying, True SSJ? Oh, 30 months from True SSJ VIP. What's this 30 months flat? Love the channel. Thanks for everything. Did you go over the Xbox price increasing? How long till PlayStation follows suit? Does this make the subservice more attractive? We'll probably end up having to talk about this tomorrow. I don't know about a video. We got to get into green room and figure all this out. 48 months from Creature. How much do we have to tip your barber for an adult haircut? More than you make in a year. So, all right, there we go. Add that to the total. Let me give you guys a link. The big thing when the scheduling thing got proven false and they said they would look into it and they never said anything after, they all clammed up. Yeah, they all clammed up, and that's when everything got scrubbed. That's exactly right. Because that was a significant problem. That could have turned into a legal problem for them. So. Can't be out here publicly making claims like that. So everything disappeared. Okay. All right, there's the link to the green room. Thank you so much for being a paying member to this channel. Member Plus and above, you guys are the best. We're still hovering around 600, so those of you that are still watching on YouTube and you can't come with us, consider upgrading to Member Plus. It's $1 more than the standard membership. If you haven't watched my reaction to the Borderlands event, go check that out now. That's something you can do if you can't come to Green Room. I'm going to end the previous stream and bring folks over with redirect, and then I'll be sure to change that thumbnail.